welcome back to VCT. And there's now not just VCT3, but there's VCT4 because we are joined by Leo from Fnatic. This is the first time you've joined us on the sofa here.
I think for this year, yes. Is this on?
Yeah, it is on.
I mean, I was here last year, you know, back here again.
I was quite tempted to say, no, it's not working if you can just lean into Steel's microphone, but don't worry, any technical issues,
you should have done it.
We'll let you know. I love that this is your first time here and you're just like, I just want to check that everything is working. We've got your back, don't worry. Talk to us then about that fairly swift 2-0 against Gentle Maze. Obviously, you planned it to go that way, but were you expecting maybe a little bit more resistance?
I mean, we definitely didn't underestimate them. Every team is hungry to play us and beat us, so for us it's just about coming in hungry to the game. Like, we probably didn't have the other games, but we felt super confident coming in. They have a very different play style, I think, to other teams here in Europe. It's just about us understanding how they play, and I think it showed.
Yeah, also, I feel like the last 2 weeks, your performance has like skyrocketed. We're seeing, you know, the Leo that we saw and loved last year. The Gecko was very impressive. Do you like playing it? Is this something that it fits into your comfort zone, or was that a hard task for you?
I mean, it's definitely fun to play different agents. I feel like when I
Gecko's very fun.
Yeah, Gecko's fun. I mean, just playing different agents is always fun. Like, I've played a lot of Sova, so I mean, anything different is just, it's nice when you practice to do different stuff.
Last week when you played Breeze and you guys lost against Giant X, it looked like you guys had everything going right, except like you didn't convert a lot of the kills. Do you feel like when they picked Breeze into you this time, that was a bit of them walking into a trap type of thing?
I mean, definitely yes, because like we picked it last week, which means we were confident on it. So, and just we watched the game back, and it was like, yeah, it was a lot of just we weren't hitting our shots and like some basic stuff. So, I mean, definitely when they picked it, it was like we're gonna win 2-0.
Yeah.
With these comps that you're playing now, given that in 2023 you chose your comps and you stuck to them throughout the year, do you feel like it's going to be a similar thing? You find the agents you want to play on your maps, and then you go like during the year from split to fit. Okay, this is how we're going to innovate now and how we're going to build on things.
I mean, it definitely depends on you know, the meta. Like, if agent is changed, you have to change. But I mean, right now we're comfortable with what we're playing with. So we just have to see if like a map changes or a new agent or whatever, you know.
Do you do micro adjustments within that? So I don't know how often you guys use, like, we just saw the Odin all the time on Lotus. Do you guys make micro adjustments about either setups or weapons used or how you approach the map within the maps that you do play and the agents that you do play?
I mean, definitely yes. I mean, maybe it's different from map to map. I feel like some maps you constantly have to try new stuff, but certain maps it's like you know what's good and you just stick to it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just dependent on like the map, really.
Leo, while we've got you here, how do you feel about talking about other teams?
What do you want to know?
Well, we have got what is going to be an incredibly close match coming up. Although at least this is what we suspect, because it is KC versus NAVI. And interestingly, now we've spoken to you about your compositions. Last year, NAVI, they were kind of known for liking to change things up quite a lot with their compositions. This year, though, this team that's been together for so long, I know Ardis obviously had some time away, but he's come back. They're facing this team with obviously an old school coach and new school players. Do you feel like NAVI are now kind of settled on what works?
I mean, they played the year before the last year. I mean, they should be super comfortable playing with each other. I think they have like a trio that's played for probably like 3-4 years. So, I mean, they're super comfortable together, and I mean, they're definitely a strong team.
Yeah, exactly. If we think about the compositions and what you were saying, Frankie, for the entirety of 2023, we saw NAVI that was a threat for many reasons, and one of them was like changing compositions from time to time. Having 9, 8, 5 different compositions for each map, I think is absolutely crazy, and it of course affects the level of preparation that the other team can have against you, because obviously it looks like they're always like reading onto you and they're able to change stuff up. Compared to what you guys did last year is literally actually the complete opposite, right? You were very comfortable with the composition that you were playing. How do you think it's difficult to prepare against a team like this, or do you feel like even though they change the compositions, NAVI is always NAVI? You can be honest.
I mean, what's the real question? Like,
Is it difficult to adapt to this compositional changes, or do you think that the way the macro that they play the game is always the same?
I mean, yeah, the way they play is always like similar way. I think for NAVI, but obviously when they play new agents you maybe haven't seen, it's a bit like the first few rounds. Maybe you have to get into it more. But I feel like on certain maps, it's like you kind of know how the map is played. But I mean, it depends on the map, really. I would say like certain maps it might be harder, and some it's easier.
When we watch KC play, it looks like when they're able to execute their game plan really well, it looks like they do a good job of controlling the pace, moving around together, and being very explosive. But against Foot, it looked like they weren't able to really get that. How do you think they're going to fare against NAVI? Is NAVI going to really stop them from being able to have that momentum?
I mean, I would say Navi's playstyle is good against KC, because I feel like they slow down the game and probably dictate the tempo more, and KC has to adapt more to them. But it might also be the opposite, where KC is just gonna be in their face a lot. So I mean, it's definitely a good matchup. But I would probably say Navi has the advantage.
It's going to be a really interesting one because of the fact that KC obviously very much believe in their aim, but perhaps maybe lack a little bit of flexibility. So if we're seeing NAVI play things that they've played before, do you think that's going to be, I guess, in Coach Eng and KC's favour? Do you think that KC can actually maybe put I'm trying to think of an idiom that is not a random English idiom. I'm thinking, how can KC disrupt NAVI now that NAVI have kind of got this momentum on their side?
I mean, it's just, I mean, not letting NAVI play their game. I think KC has to come out and be very aggressive, I think, and make NAVI play their game, and yeah, hopefully that works.
What? You mentioned that. That's one of the holes we have seen with NAVI so far. Is that
I was laughing because it's just like, yeah, you just let NAVI kind of trip over themselves, and they're gonna, you know, give up the game in a, so to speak, because that's kind of what we saw against Liquid for a little bit as well. Is that NAVI, they can be so good, but then they can also kind of mess themselves up. Yeah, so we've got a few rounds from KC where on Breeze at the start of the round, KC are attempting a map control play with a flash and dart into main. Martin and Shin are pushing down Hall's tube, and they're trying to converge into an A play. But while that happens, Foot telegraphs a heavy mid presence, knife for elbow, Viper orb for mid doors. And as Foot starts to move up middle, KC go to the next phase of their plan, which is they want to fight out Nest. They're going to drone out mid doors, but it doesn't matter because Foot's already, they molly, Viper molly into Nest, and then they're just all over the site. Tamazi was trying to play for the retake from half wall the entire round, but it's already too late. Foot's just flooding out of tunnel and main and getting superior positioning on KC. And KC don't even clear the basic angles. They look so flat when dealing with this play. They're like, they died, I think, 2 or 3 times from a player being behind this half wall. Same thing on Lotus. They're postured towards B, decide to come back to A. Martin's here with his op, and then it's fine because Foot has res, and then KC want to press ahead, full speed behind the Fade ultimate, but Ada Captain puts down his Viper pit on after planting on the site, and they have that Sage wall that is blocking off spawn, and then KC is just like, they have to come out heavy heaven, and then they realize like, oh, well, we can't go anywhere. They're protected by the Viper pit, they have the Sage wall down to block off spawn, and then, you know, by the time KC tries to save, it's too late for them to save. So I feel like on these situations when KC has a lot of, like, their whole thing is about moving around, being proactive, and getting to the next point before the enemy. But then Foot was just one step ahead. Oh, you want to come fight us here? We molly it. Oh, you want to fight us there? We're Sage walling it.
They definitely struggled with CNED as well, just like basically being able to do whatever the hell he wanted on that map. And I don't think they were expecting that, especially as it was such a different CNED that we saw playing on NAVI. You're actually going to be playing NAVI next, I think. No, you're not playing NAVI next. I'm so sorry. I've looked at a schedule, but you are playing NAVI in a future match. Do you feel like the Valorant that you're playing at the moment is stronger?
Stronger than NAVI, or
yeah.
You mean? I mean, of course, I have to say so. It's just our practice has been very good lately, and it's just about showing up in the game day. And I think today is a good step, and we have a game in 2 days, so it's just staying consistent, and hopefully we we perform again.
So who's winning? KC or Navi? You got 5 seconds.
Say Navi.
Navi.
It's better for
You
ourselves.
gave it to me in 3 seconds, so let's get this show on the road. KC versus Navi. The young guns of KC have proved the Blues are the honest and hottest colour, with a young team hopefully benefiting from Eng's leadership. I say hopefully, they really have been. A win over Navi will be a statement of intent and a sign that Karmine Corp are a multi-dimensional team to be feared. However, Navi have had such a strong start to their campaign for that flight to Shanghai, and all eyes will be on them to set the pace today, or at least disrupt the pace of KC. They're going to be showing why they could be the strongest team in the region. This is probably the most exciting matchup, I have to say, of the week.
Yeah, I would say so. I think that both of the teams have a couple of things that they need to improve on, right? We saw Navi losing rounds and making some mistakes they shouldn't be making, especially at this state. Because if we were to see KC making the same mistakes, we can make an excuse for them. They're not as experienced. They haven't played together for so long. But honestly, if we look at the head-to-head, the Magnum versus Angel, the experience as an IGL is astonishing for the side of Angel, right? It's many, many years. And I feel like probably going back to what Steel was breaking down in the rounds, is that mid-round, right? Is that decision-making once something that you're not prepared for comes into place.
One of the things I noticed here for Karmine Corp is that they have the 1-0 plushie advantage. Navi having 0 plushies out here, which means that KC's going to take the series. That's my official, breakdown analysis.
Yeah. Surprise here to see Navi banning the Breeze, something that they do not want to see. KC aftermath, they've been banning the Ascent, and the first map is going to be Bind. So most likely we can expect the Gecko head-to-head. And Leo, as a Gecko expert yourself, what do you think it's the most important thing as a Gecko on Bind, besides the Ace?
I mean, it's syncing up with the other flasher. You can't really use solo flash with Gecko because it's so easy to break. So whoever the second flasher is, if it's like Sky or KO, it's like you really have to sync up.
We saw that you guys did that really well in your game the last time you played on Bind, where you had so many combos. Like every fight was basically Gecko flash with Sky flash. When you're in these chaotic situations, is it easy? How hard is it to sync up? Because Sky doesn't have rechargeable flashes, so now you have to be a little bit more deliberate.
I mean, it definitely took time to get to the level where we are. We have played it for a few months, and in the beginning it was definitely the timing was off. But I think right now we're feeling super comfortable.
Well, we're seeing the two teams getting ready to go. I was interested in what the Gentlemates streamers said the other day when they were talking about the fact that to beat KC, you just have to shoot them first. I don't know if that means that Navi are going to be upping their momentum on this one, but talk us through this drop.
Yeah, as I was saying, we're going to see the Gecko on both sides, but the flashes are going to be different, right? We're going to have KO and Artist for the side of Navi, and then Magnum on the Sky for the side of KCOR. Also, I think that the difference between the Omen and the Brimstone is very big. Me personally, I love the Brimstone. I think that Shao is a great smoker. What do you think, Leo, in this terms of the, very briefly, what do you like better, the Brimstone or the Omen?
I think it depends it depends on the player, but if I was playing, I would prefer Omen, because I think you can do a bit more plays. But obviously the Brimstone is not bad. You have probably a better ultimate. So I mean, probably just comfort pick, I think.
Wow. We'll see who is most comfortable on the stage in just a moment, because we're ready to head over to our casters to get this match underway. It's Tom, Biz, and Nichman.
Thank you so much, Frankie. Good to have you back here. And what a stacked desk we just had. But Tom, now as we get into this game, there's only one question left. Is Navi's flawless run going to keep on going? Or are we going to see KC put a stop to it here?
I think that's the question on many people's minds. I'm not going to be the one to answer it. I don't know. I think it's going to be an exciting matchup. I was surprised to see that we went through the veto and Breeze was actually banned out by Navi. It's been a weaker map, but that's the thing. I feel like they always just pick their ban on the day. It like changes up quite regularly. It does mean Sunset will be in there, which we have seen them ban quite often throughout the tournament so far. So maybe going to see something a little bit more there. But for now, we're kicking things off on Bind. Defensive side for Navi. So expect them to be better in the second half.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how that one tracks. The defensive side start leaves KC on the attack and looking to quicken the pace on the B side already. They're jumping out of hookah and pincering this long play, leaving Shao on the floor and Angel running for the TP. B site, most concretely secured, and a 5v4 post plan for Navi. It's going to see Angel quite far away.
Yeah, he might even just have to go back through the second TP, but from this point for KC having this level of an afterplant, it's going to be difficult for Navi to get back into this one. Smokes continuously put through. The spam has done quite a bit of damage, and nades being placed, but Tamazi already winning another battle in towards that hookah position. I don't see a way back into this for Navi.
Yeah, good lurkout by Tamazi. Too many players spotted an elbow that distracts them, draws their eye. And although he goes down eventually, it looks to be done and dusted. Zipan trying to land that extra shot on Shin. Would have left him in a winnable 1v1, but a little too much to ask. 1-0 for KC, and a very well-handled start to this. We already see Navi look for a bit of control, and they are shut down immediately by KC's aggression.
Yeah, it was the pace that they actually took things through hookah. I don't think anybody was really watching that angle. And again, these flashes, the supportive flashes from the Riot, and that's one of the swap ups they had from their prior comp. Like we saw them running a Yoru on this map, and then they had the Raze as well. But adding that extra little bit in on the Gecko, I think the Riot has been one of the best we've seen in the region so far. Kicking things off strongly with that pistol under their belt. Now, Navi, they're going to invest a little bit into this one. Shorty in lamps. Other than that, just gonna be a couple of sheriffs.
Yeah, good potential to get damage done even with that bind. The flash is perfect. The swing on the back of it even better. And Shao gets out with 2. It could have been more, but 2 is still good enough. Artist tucked in on the side is baiting, trying to draw their eye again, but Angel's being spotted. Artist dealt with, and the pistols are forced back. At least most of them are. Zipan's gone swinging into heavy traffic. Ends up flattened, and with damage done to Narrate, yeah, Navi could make this costly, but the chances of winning from here, very low.
Yeah, the only real thing would be is if they can gain some of the weaponry back. But it doesn't look like there's much to really be found. I think they have an idea of where these players are going to be. Sugetsu manages to get a couple off the back of it, and now it's left on to Angel. He's retrieved himself a sheriff. Up against Martine, the advantage still firmly sat with the player on KC's side, but the major issue is that that time is going to begin to tick, and Angel can almost just play with that. Try and wait for him to go for a plant, doesn't really need to get into position, and Martine obviously wary that if he gives up this spot, that's where the guns are.
Oh, that timing. He's just managed to cross for free. 15 seconds or so, should be able to get the plant down, but it looks like Angel wants the TP. Pick up a weapon along the way, 35 health. Not a favorable position to play from, and that nade could block him out, but instead, somehow, Martine plants in the open, ends up taking a fight that he should not have won, and wins it. Well, fair enough, 2-0 for KC, but not in a conventional manner.
No, I can't believe that's the spot he actually decided to plant in. I was like, anywhere else on the site,
he heard the TP.
It's terrifying,
crazy.
But hey, he gets it over the line, manages to win that final duel. An incredibly good round for Navi, though. Like, the amount of damage that they've been able to do in this position.
Oh, he's mad.
Oh, a little bit frustrating, but yeah, all in all, dropping 4 weapons. You can see the buy that's coming up for KC is a pretty ugly one at that, while rifles across the board for Navi.
Oh, frustrating round for Angel, but still a good one. 4 players spotted here. KC put in a box immediately. Navi have that info, and they have slowed the push. What was going to be a very pacey take from the side of KC, the element of surprise combined with the numbers advantage. This time, though, they've been halted, and they're left with a pretty tough choice. Going through this smoke, you know they might have rotated. As we can see, there are 4 players waiting for these attackers to walk out, and once the flashes subside, the kills come in far too quickly. A clean follow-up with only Angel falling.
Yeah, it had to be a weaker purchase in this round for KC. Obviously wanting to play that as a bit more of a bonus. Already a couple of ultimates are going to be coming online. Thrash available for Narrate, but also if they fight for the orbs, they could have Tamazi on a Viper's Pit. And on the other side of things, it's going to be that orbital strike available for Shao, but this is exactly what you want for the side of Navi. Just being able to basically bounce back immediately, keep the majority of the rifles onto the board. And now we look to see what KC have got planned for their attack. Seems a little bit more defaulty than the last couple of rounds.
Yeah, not looking to get the round off to too quick of a start or catch all players inside the knife. KC pump the brakes, play the default, and this is where Navi, you know, they've got something to fall back on with an orbital strike, but those rifles in hand, there's no need to be over-rotating. They can bunker themselves down. But I don't see any attempts at early information gaining, bar that knife going out. I've spotted one player in hookah, and at some point, you're gonna get a little suspicious of this play. You can already see those players gravitating towards B long. We may have the flash out and the swing on the back. I'm just curious to see that Angel isn't popping up that dizzy every now and then just to clear out long, and it looks like he just has.
But that is the thing. Up until now, they'd literally used zero utility, so that they can still throw out the nade or whatever they like to try and just go for the plant denial. Thrash is going to find absolutely nothing, and Sugetsu's going to use this to try and reclaim some space. There is the Dizzy from the other side with a flash through, but he still wins his battle. The trade's back, though, from Martine, and the rate fantastic. Leaving things on to just one. Martine attempting to try and do it all, and he's going to take down the final player of Ardis as well. A huge round from Martine, and he will gift KC their third.
Oh, that was a battle between Martine and Sugetsu. Sugetsu's pathing was beautiful, dodging flashes after his position was given away, repositioning to catch him completely off guard, but well, looks like he just got one-upped by the player on the other side. And of course, big conversations behind the scenes about some of these young guns. Martine, I mean, we just saw Durka in the previous series, Tom, and I think if you're to compare him to anyone, the younger form, it could be this man here, 7-2 at the moment, and someone that, you know, he's had a spot of inconsistency here or there, but I think overall a very promising player for the future, even for now, to be honest, after international performances and the depth they were able to run going through kickoff. 3-1, KC leading. But Navi have something up their sleeve. Viper's Pit deployed, and the rocket doesn't get fired out in time. Sugetsu holds his ground inside of hookah. And again, KC's aggressive push is put to a stop. Narrate is taking a lot of damage in that corner. He's gone down to the snake bite. An interesting decision. Perhaps he thought he'd get the upper hand as Sugetsu went walkabouts. Instead, he has perished to a snake bite. It's not what you like to see.
No, definitely not the start they're looking for in a round where their economy is on the line. Now, Viper's Pit is available, but they're actually just going to go peeking. Angel goes down. Maybe not expecting anybody to swing that wide. Tomazi also given another opportunity. The nade is going to leave Shin at least a little bit lower, but a round that was looking done, well, it now starts to look a little bit more done with Shin dropping to the judge.
Tomazi was even trying to catch an angle as Xiao came out or as someone emerged from spawn, but he's caught in the back. Too many players on Navi still floating around. Magnum needs a big old play to make this happen. One flash still to work with and one kill found, but that is where it ends. 3-2, they're right back in it, and well, that Viper's Pit from Sugetsu, it's rare that you see one almost giving you the assist, but there was no way back out. I figure we're gonna get a replay of that. There's the first, and look at this. Even if he runs back through at a certain point, he's dead because of the decay of the pit. But standing in the corner didn't see any different of a solution.
One enemy remaining.
Maybe hoping that someone was push, catch a timing, but it hasn't worked out. So. And now things, well, financially are about as bad as they could be, surviving the last round with a singular player. It puts KC in a bit of an awkward position. Now, they do have themselves the Viper's Pit. I can only assume that that will only be utilized if they're able to do a significant amount of damage. And while the one weapon, it may have only been a stinger, has passed hands within the first seconds of the round.
Rough timing by Ardis there. He's caught with a little shot, but still they need to follow up on him, and to do that, they've got to get through Xiao, and that ain't happening this time around. Spike down inside hookah, player down on A long. And with this, it's just Narrate. Sheriff in hand, 1 versus 5, and not a single kill to be found. The scoreline is tied up 3-3, but Navi have got the ball rolling.
Yeah, no, and Andaluthia flawless as well to keep the finances as strong as humanly possible. It's going to have to be a response from KC soon, because you can already see like, that the majority of players are around that 3, 4, maybe even 5,000 credit mark for Navi. And for KC, okay, as said, still got that Viper's Pit, still got a From the Shadows they can try and throw in to cause a little bit of disruption. But I think these sort of slower rounds, these more defaulty rounds, have just been given those individual fights over to NAVI, and they are more than happy to take those.
Well, even from round 2, Tom, we saw that with pistols in their hand, they were able to do so much damage. On the side of NAVI, under a little bit of pressure. We saw the snakebite land and force Angel into the corner, but I'm not sure that they know he can safely be stood there, and they're definitely not watching it. But the molly forces them back, or at least stops them going forward. Their own decisions send them in the other direction. It seems the A site is the new target. With NAVI being so close, though, they might spot that out pretty soon. In fact, I already see Angel moving down towards long, and we may have seen a flash go down.
Oh, timing, it could be everything. He's actually given that up because the showstopper, it got baited out by from the shadows. He went to TP Heaven, and Zipan just uses it to try and kill him off. And because of it, they've just wasted that. Oh, that's a brilliant trade for KC. I don't think they were ever expecting to get an ult out of it. Now, though, back towards this B site. Angel is still in this corner. Hasn't been cleared, but it's only going to be the one. Even still, it gives the information over to Xiao. Viper screen immediately goes up, and he's just looking to brawl, but he loses this time.
And Toxins weren't there to keep it on up, and Martin caught around the side. What's happening with Artis? It just found 3 kills, quick as can be, but Magnum somehow stands to equalize it. A 1 versus 1 Sugetsu, who's been sublime thus far, but spotted out by the floating cabbages. Magnum realizes that player's a little too close, so the rotation comes in. The plant could be secured. It looks like it will be. Nice, safe angle. But on the way back, there's a bit of danger. The timing could be perfect for Sugetsu. He rounds the corner, but just about misses him. Magnum's managed to slip away. And Sugetsu doesn't know where to. It could have been the walk to mid. The timing would have to be perfect. I think he'll suspect this position. But still 2 directions that Magnum can take it. Cat and mouse for now. The first tap should draw Magnum, but he's not afraid. He thinks it's all a bait, and what a way to read that ruse. 3 kills for Magnum and a Red Bull clutch to put KC back on top.
Yeah, they've needed a few of them. These rounds that they're winning are mostly with 1 player surviving, and yeah, that was a huge clutch out from Magnum. That was a scenario where Artis looked like he closed the round, getting 3 kills on the entry into the site, but then Magnum does one better, like just does exactly the same in response, clears a couple from the site as they peek him, well, in pretty decent spacing. He's able to isolate them, and well, just playing with Sugetsu at the end. That's going to be 4-3. KC reclaiming their lead, but I think even though it's a celebration from from Zeish, I think Eng has decided this might be a good time to take a tactical pause, because the rounds they are winning are with 1 player, and eventually that's going to end up with, well, probably Na'Vi winning the half.
Well, that's it. Na'Vi running away with it if it gets isolated down to that, not just because clutch potential can be matched pound for pound on that defensive side, but yeah, 1v3 is not really repeatable more times than not. 4 on the board already. Attack side shaping up, but we know Navi's second half could be scary. KC, they can't let anything slip, and they're not exactly close to destroying Navi's economy. It's not like that round win gives them a free one after. You can see it on your screens there. Still going to be rifles in play, and ultimates coming online. The orbital strike for Xiao, just 1 away, and Artis, no surprise after last round, he's got his ult online and ready to go. That can help them a lot on the way back through. And I think KC have a lot of dangers to keep in the back of their mind moving into round number 8.
Yeah, there's definitely a matchup as well. I think we have to talk about both of these teams looking like they're in decent form. KC obviously having a matchup already where they fell to foot, so not wanting to head into the sort of 2-2, the danger zone, and for NAVI, they're yet to lose on Martin again! He got off to the races very quickly in this matchup. Someone we know can take over these games, but it has been absurd, the damage he's been able to do. And again, a double opener to kick off this round. The only danger here, I was gonna say there were 3 players within the B-side, Mitch, but now it's left to 1.
And Artis' big slowing utility to at least buy some time has already been used. That nade was thrown down quite cautiously on B-Long. And he's going walkabouts, but something tells me if he doesn't spot these players on long, which would just be Tamazi on a timing. Oh, he's seen him. Yeah, I was going to say he's going to go to A. He's going to think he's flanking the real play. Instead, he does get back towards long, but what can he really do? He's going to flash out. Artis is going for the play. He went big last round, but this time he is shut down before he can even get started.
Yeah, it's Martin to take the fight and take the damage, but
planted.
His teammates had his back, and KC, well, this round is in the bag. Again, off the back of Martin. Like, he has been superb thus far in a lot of these opening battles, and that was one of the things we sort of mentioned within the desk, because we know that there's going to be moments where Na'Vi are pushing. We know that they're going to try and push teams into awkward fights. They're going to play crazy sometimes. Martin has done well to really just shut them out in these opening fights and make sure that any of that aggression on the defensive side is just denied almost immediately.
It's a dangerous factor to have a player like that as well, who can almost settle the round mere seconds in. Got to be on guard the whole time. For NAVI, they'll see that lead slip further out of their grasp. They've been there before. Never too fearsome of giving the advantage away. They can pull it back, but now we see the credits go down to the last. Said they still had money, and they did. But this round here is going to be the last buy for NAVI, and we can see KC absolutely run away with this early half. Ultimates, though, are starting to come online. The same can be said for KC. This round, you got to keep your eye on Martin after so many kills and a couple deaths. He's close to getting that showstopper back online. Add to that Narrate. Could well have Thrash to play with, and you've got a very dangerous round for the defenders.
Yeah. Tomasi still goes Viper's Pit.
Still has it, yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Doesn't even need to see him.
Just another opener from Martin. These rounds have been so quick to start. And he's been winning a lot of those early battles. I think Zipan might have taken a chunk of damage as well. He's down to just 42 HP. Artist with the flash. He's just thrown it to them, maybe to catch it. Not really a way that anybody can act off that. Maybe just trying to put into the heads that somebody was close.
Give the sound cue if they're around hookah. Maybe they hear it, think there's a long push, something like that. But yeah, I mean, they were stood there looking at it, thinking, well, what the hell is the idea behind that? Okay, he has one less flash, I guess. Easy peasy.
Spike planted.
Okay, so I was going to make the point. Viper's Pit, probably see it used here, Tom. Nope, not anymore. Not needed. It's a 5 versus 2, because you've, or 5 versus 3, pardon me. One player trapped in elbow, no way to get revived, and a ton of control. I love this from Magnum. It's not even checked.
No, they're being picked apart. The remaining players just going to try and back out of there, and Xiao's caught on the way as well. This is not looking good for the side of Na'Vi. The few rounds that they won were relatively clean, but again, it's these opening picks off to a good start. I feel like KC are one of those teams as well where their 5v4 conversion is always very good. I think their fundamentals, I think you've got to give credit to Eng on that. Very good at their training. And you can see that Na'Vi, in response, a lot of the time, they're going to try and gamble. They're going to try and take risks. And that's exactly what they were waiting for. You could see Tomasi was just holding that pixel angle, waiting for Artist to gamble. And well, this time, the remaining player of Sugetsu had to fold. It is going to be 6-3 now. Already a solid attacking half for the side of KC. And you have to bear in mind, this is the pick of Na'Vi.
It was funny that a second before that kill, I was thinking, are they, will they, won't they commit that Viper's Pit? And then Tomasi got into the same debate about even using his Poison Orb seconds later. Too clean of a round from KC, double the scoreline of Na'Vi. But as we mentioned, that was a round where there wasn't exactly the most to work with for Na'Vi. There were some weaknesses. Now they come back in, ready to rumble, but up against a lot. Thrash is the first to be used. It's going to be sent right back to mid just to be reclaimed after the orbital strike burned up. But Tom, again, a very early orbital strike, considering it doesn't cancel out Thrash. You know, 15 seconds later, Thrash is back and ready to go. You don't have an orbital strike anymore.
But yeah, this is a few ults now we've seen from Na'Vi that have been super preemptive. It's would almost assume that they'd taken full hookah control already. Instead, though, Angel now, it seems like he's looking for that 1v1. Magnum is just waiting within that faded smoke. And now we're going to see the second usage of that Thrash. This time they are pushing off it.
Oh, no chance for Angel. The trade, though, could be good for Xiao if it wasn't shut down so quickly. Tomasi there to play, and with a Viper's Pit still to work with, this could be the round where we see it get used. In fact, he's the one planting. Questionable. We'll see if it does get activated. There we go. At long last, the Viper's Pit comes into play. And this is not what you want to see if you're on the side of Na'Vi, now having to defuse the spike and play through all this decay. And you won't be fighting Viper all too soon either, because you've got a lot of players up close ready to take Tamazi's place in these duels. The fight around the back sees 1 kill traded out, but with the spike still to be touched, that's where the real problem comes in. Of course, the pit doesn't fully cover, but they believe they've got utility, and they've certainly got the positions to fight back with time ticking away. A kill is needed very soon for Navi, and in fact, they'll find 2. Now it goes back to winnable with no snake bites. Tamazi has to run in, shorty in hand, and he can't get there in time. Just about. It will go across the line for the defenders, fighting against all odds to close the gap.
And it's just another, like, Na'Vi-esque round. Like, it's peculiar that they're able to get that back over the line, because, again, the post-plant, as you said, you had the Viper passive, the 2 aggressive positions, and then you had Narrate, even in hookah, waiting back to try and cut anyone who wasn't going to go within the pit. It looked like a really good post-plant scenario. But then you just have, again, Ardis and Zipan, this duo. And I think that might be one of the players who's actually benefited most from Ardis coming back, is Zipan. I feel like we've seen that across many different series. His individual level looks to have gone up. And what Na'Vi, it's weird. This is both teams now have taken pauses after winning a round. And it seems like Na'Vi are going to do the same here.
I think you could see as well, going to the coach cams, the frustration on Zaish. Understandable. That's a round that you very much feel like is locked in. You've got a good chance of winning, but once the Viper's pit comes into play, the advantages, the positions they had as well.
Maybe that's why they don't use it.
Went away. Maybe without that pit, they win the round every time. That's the problem, Tom. They cut off Narrate's sight line, so he couldn't take the fights. Granted, he hasn't been going too well in this map, but that'll turn around. I guarantee you that if you've ever seen this guy play. But compared to what could have been now a 7-3 scoreline and a stacked possibility for KC's late game. Remember, the economy again was being invested heavily by Navi, and they lost most of their players. It was 2 left by the time they win. It could have been a very good foundation set in this half. Instead, well, it could still be equalized by Navi before we see the side swap.
Similar sort of default. A lot of the aggression from Na'Vi hasn't had mass amounts of success, but running this Gecko alongside the KO, they're able to get quite a bit of information without having to push too far. Sugetsu in the close corner, but the entirety of KC looking like they're going to go off the back of this showstopper. Martin, first one through, but for now at least, just walking up.
Did they see Sugetsu? It doesn't look like it. The reactions aren't there just yet. The flash has caught him. It delays him a moment, and he goes down. Martin even found the kill onto Zipan with the showstopper. Navi now on a serious back foot.
Good paranoia.
Paranoia and double peek after. Can't fault it. You can't do much about it on the side of Navi. You could almost be thinking about the save already.
Angel still looking for a fight. But again, this seems to be the thing. When KC go for these more sort of disjointed like defaults, it seems like Na'Vi have an opportunity to actually pick them off. And in rounds where they just go for the direct takes, the executes, Na'Vi just get blitzed. Like that was perfect from them. I think especially again, you have to just give credit over to Narrate's utility. Because that Gecko flash, if it doesn't catch out Sugetsu, he's at least getting 2. I believe it.
100%. And it's not even the fact that it stops him from killing Martin, which would have almost certainly come through if you look at the timing on him going through the wall. Add to that, Martin wouldn't fire off. He wouldn't be able to take down this player on the backside. So you have 2 kills canceled out, and it's all because they get that information. The big difference between a Sky Flash and a Gecko, and why we see Gecko used so much, so powerful with that Dizzy, because it doesn't just tell you there are players there. I have blinded someone. It also tells you with the sound cues, he's there. Yeah. You can follow those little blue tracers, and that's a ton of information that you see capitalized on this time. Round 12, 7-4. Still can be a good half for Navi, but they've got to do it here, and there's weaknesses, a Bulldog and a Guardian in play.
Definitely not the greatest weaponry, but definitely workable. Again, just look at the pace, though. KC switching it up. Tamazi's positioning could be perfect. He's waited, but actually Xiao just gets the perfect timing. Shin goes aggressive, and whoa, this very quickly has divulged into madness. So many individual fights being taken, and all of them being won by Na'Vi. It leaves Narrate alone. You know that you don't want to give this man too much. They're just throwing their utility at him. He found 3 in quick succession. Down to just 38 HP, in fact 20, as the spams do even more. He needs to hit these final shots, and he needs everything to miss from the side of Na'Vi. You said he'd been a little quiet so far, but you can see that NAVI are giving him the respect he deserves at this stage. Sitting back within, he's found his 4th of the round. May not know the shout's there, but he's able to reposition. He's able to fall back towards this B site. And as you said, he's got the perfect ultimate for a 1 versus 1.
Might be one of the most mechanically perfect setups to an ace that we've seen. Unbelievable. The way he picks off each and every angle, but one more still to find. Position should be perfect, even if he doesn't get checked. And actually, when that spike gets tapped, Thrash might be able to path up very close before it's spotted. In fact, used already. Very early on, Narrate thought he heard him drop down, but it was a fake cue. Showdown knows where his opponent is. Thrash won't be here to help. It has to be the shot connected from Narrate. The ace just a bullet away! And there it is! An absolutely unbelievable play from Narrate. 8 rounds for KC on the back of it. And yeah, he had been quiet, Tom, but we knew it was a matter of time until this guy woke up.
Oh, well, it's safe to say last week,
Enemy remaining.
NAVI were the ones dishing out the nightmares. This week they return, and well, Narrate's just pulled off one of the greatest aces we've ever seen in EMEA. A 1 versus 5 to take them home their 8th round. It truly is absurd, the individual ability that this man has. Positioning, perfect, aim, no one questioning it. But NAVI have got to feel like fools.
Well, there was a round that NAVI took because of what I would put down to over-peaking from KC with that Viper's Pit in play. Seems fitting that they end up losing one of their own to the very same. Zipan, hello. He is going very quickly. The nade already dug deep, and the shots, they're not really hitting. And Narrate answers right back with a clean shot. The advantage now swings towards KC, but the spike has been planted. A chance for them to hold on to control, but they are being flanked on every which side. And these players now separated out, isolated in every duel. Molly line up for Xiao. Maybe he can buy a little bit more time, but Angel's gonna have to go nuclear on this site. Good luck to him. He doesn't even get the one.
The Molly. That's at least there, but as you said, we now need back-to-back 1v5s, and they're not going to allow that. Instead, it's the opposite. It's going to be an Andaluthia flawless for KC. And that's the thing. There is very few things that I believe can shake NAVI, but losing a 1v5 in the final round of the first half, maybe that'll shake them.
That will shake anyone, Tom, in the fashion that they did as well. Even in the 1v2, by the time that they said, hey, let's take this seriously, Angel was 10 HP. It's already too far gone at that point. 9 on the board now with that pistol for KC. And NAVI, they're coming in with nothing. Classics and a few sheriffs to work with. This seems set to be double digits for KC. And Tom, we started this map out with you saying, well, we expect NAVI to be better in the second half. Well, they're gonna have to be a lot better to pull this one back.
Yeah, well, no matter what the stat lines will suggest, they've always been an attack-sided teams. For
got the spike.
Them going into this map when they won versus Vitality, it was 7-5. It wasn't anything too crazy. But when they find it in them, we know what this NAVI squad can do. This, though, it's not looking good. And KC, they don't feel like a team that will let these sort of leads slip when it's going well for Karmine Corp. They really do seem to just run away with these matches, and I think every little thing that could have gone right has done. Martin has said he's been the best player in the server so far. He just got wrecked with Artis on a classic. Let's see what he can do with this gun.
Well, not much for a second. Stunned up, few shots through, and that one lands eventually. Artis down, but they're defending that weapon still. Players taking fights across the board, and it's Narrate that's mostly on the other side of it. KC finding themselves another round and a big build up. Narrate's gonna take that defuse, I believe. Yep. So just 2 away from the Thrash. An ult that actually, I don't think we've seen that much impact from so far, but it can have a ton. Very much like Narrate in the first half. It can be quiet, but when it answers up, it could get you around.
Wow, 10-4. We've seen NAVI in down and out positions before, but again, different opposition and a different map. I don't think I see it happening this time. Like, genuinely, we've seen a few rounds where a few players have looked good, but the time they won this map was Angel, getting like 25 kills? He's currently bottom of the board with 3. He was able to just blitz Vitality almost on his own, and I'm liking these setups already from KC. A pop flash on either side, aggressive from Shin as well. The Outlaw's gonna kick things off. That's Shao gone. That's your smoke's gone.
You know, it's funny because you mentioned the Vitality game, and I think what Vitality say about their roster with
He almost on
3
his
duelists
own.
better than anyone else in the world. I almost think they're talking about KC when they say that. Because this roster, I think that applies to, and a lot of people out there will agree with that. Martin, Narrate, and Tamazi, unbelievable players in their own right. Magnum has had one hell of a year so far. The year's only barely started, but he's been so impressive. A lot to be done by NAVI to fight their way back through. That's a good start with Shin down, and even managing to take Martin.
It does seem like NAVI, they don't get those opening battles. They barely want any opening duels, but when they have been good, it's been a response. Their 4v5 stats must be pretty decent at this stage. For Tamazi, it's about damage. Can he remove any extra weaponry? A first goes his way, but I can tell you now, there shouldn't be anybody peeking. Especially with the util that's there, and eventually, Ardis is going to be the one to bring home their 5th. Of course, for KC, Mitch, it was a bonus round. So expectations on NAVI were to win that one.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a round they should win and a round they do win. It's a formality, if anything, and I think a lot of it comes down to, will you see it being a dominant victory? Do they seem like they have control, or are they struggling? The funny thing is, in those rounds where they should win and so on, KC kind of struggled starting this map out. They were shaky in some of the easier rounds, and then they woke up later on when the rifles came through. But what worked for them was punching through the NAVI defense, was sending this team to the back foot and playing those post plants, converting those advantages. It's harder to do on the defense. Every push comes with a risk. You leave a weakness on another part of the map as you strengthen one side. Magnum, not looking to give away anything.
He does have the
him,
gun.
and he falls right back. Lovely.
Yeah, the Spectre is not the gun you want to be fighting that battle with. Again, just looking for information across the map. They've been doing this with the Sky utility throughout their short stint on the defensive side. Looking like Magnum's going to be the one under pressure. Does have support from Hookah, but he needs to get out of here. Has a few supportive flashes, and straight in goes Zipan. A comfortable entry. Maybe not the most comfortable shots onto the Thrash.
He was running out of ammo, so just trying to preserve in case they ran through to follow up on the Thrash. Instead, Thrash is on the floor, you've got no value for it, and you're not going to get it back. So, very well handled from the side of NAVI. They've locked him out and locked in another round win. I just look back, Tom, at the Lotus versus Liquid, because I remembered in this series in particular, it was shaky, but you mentioned KC, very good at finding opening picks. NAVI, very good at fighting from disadvantages. It's almost perfect between the two. In that game, just on Lotus, they were -7 versus Liquid in opening duels, and they only barely lost the game. It's somewhere that they're able to consistently fight back from. I think it was similar on Split as well. It was only minutely positive. Now, this is a team that doesn't mind playing from behind, and listen, with a player like Angel on the roster, you better be comfortable with that.
Yeah, I think the thing that's worrying for me, though, is that just looking at this KC team, a lot of their the first half wins were just them playing off the advantages. Like, they are a lot less likely to give up the man advantage in those scenarios. 4 rounds now, and they did manage to save the weaponry. The problem is, what's going to be bought up along the other players is not going to be much. So I almost want to see like a buddy system. Like, can the players that don't have guns steal it off the corpse of a friend if the fights don't go to plan?
Down goes your knife, in goes your information. 2 players caught by it, a third here. And actually, a third about to give away their position as well. I think Magnum going for a deep flash. No? I'm looking at the mini-map and just seeing 3 players shift their way down B long. It's a quiet play, a contact play from the defensive side, and they've seen nothing. So an early flank, but it's not that early. Navi are gearing up for this push as we speak, and I think a big factor in it is going to be Angel. He's the one separated from the squad, taking individual fights, almost catching them with utility in hand, and indeed he'll finish it off eventually. But now they've got to deal with the players behind, spotting one just now, and a second indeed. Sugetsu's out of it.
Yeah, he headshot Magnum through that wall. Magnum's actually a little bit lucky to even be surviving at this stage. Narrate needs to win this battle, and no, it's his counterpart, his doppelganger, that takes him down. And unfortunately for them, it's the pistols mostly that are surviving. Zipan looking like he's closed this one with Tabazi again, just looking for damage. A headshot to either Zipan or Sugetsu would net him a kill, but other than that, again, this is the problem. You've had your round, you've had your crazy round that has gone your way. Now Navi are not going to let that happen again. If they lose another crazy clutch like that, I think that will be an anomaly. They do it once, but then they play a little bit safer.
This is it. They did it once because the reins were eased up on. They were in a 5v1. They felt like it was their round, or a 4v1, and they went swinging. And that was the mistake that got punished. After those kind of things, you're never going to find yourself slipping down that slope again, at least not if you're a team like NAVI. Very good round from Angel also. As I said, he was isolated, not there in the replay, obviously. His teammates had come to help him, but in the initial duel, still manages it. And that is Narrate's response right after getting domed by this much older Gecko on the other side. But with that, he brings some more experience.
Couple of years.
Couple of years.
Yeah, a couple of years.
Just over a decade.
No, a couple of years.
Actually, not just over a decade.
all right.
Still,
you know
he's
what
got
they
those
say.
reactions.
Respect your elders. Pace change, though, from Navi. They're going to use all of that to take out their utility. Martin still does well. Zipan should get a trade. No, actually, it's just damage. A lot of damage, in fact, that's been done. Magnum's not going to be able to survive any longer, but Shin does a little bit more. Narrate with the spam, but Zipan again, he's now tagged down to 5, and it's left all onto Sugetsu. The 1 versus 2 hits that first shot. Tries to bait in Tamazi. It's going to be Viper on Viper. Timing here for Tamazi looks pretty good, but round the corner goes Sugetsu. The poison orb, and he's going to drop it just in time to take him down. It is another clutch one, another single player round for KC, but they won't mind. They're getting themselves ever closer to that map point.
It's a step in the right direction. They can almost see the ribbon at the end of the race. 2 more to go. Bell have pulled this off. Navi on their map pick of bind. They come in today, undefeated, putting those points on the board week after week. But this was the game that we knew could be a turning point for that squad, and we heard the conversation on the desk earlier on about how important this week's games are. This is the week where you'll come out of it with a good idea. Are we 1 away from making it through, or are we in that danger zone? The turning point for these teams, and for NAVI, could be the first loss on the board. Still though, only map 1, Sunset and Split up next, and well, I'm excited for a competitive series. Looks like KC might have that map as a leg up going into the next style.
That's the other thing as well. You have to talk about, even though it seems quite early with a few weeks left, in playoffs, if you finish in that first place spot, you skip a little bit of the playoffs, and then if you win, I think it's just maybe in 1 game. I think you actually make it to Shanghai. So that's the scenario you could be in if you manage to finish in one of those top 2 spots. You also avoid the other top place from the other group. So you really want to be putting yourself in a position where you finish in that number 1, and both of these groups, as we've seen, have been very competitive. With KC obviously already taking their first loss, their second one could put them in a position where they end up slipping a little bit further down the board. And from this spot especially, you do not want to allow NAVI back into the game. I am looking though, Martin again, that showstopper in play. He has been fantastic thus far. Again though, their economy is on the brink. A Spectre and a Judge currently in play. Now the Judge, we've seen that work out on this map in particular many a time. The Spectre, I'm still waiting to see it.
I don't think you'll see it on this angle, Tom, if I'm being completely honest with you. Magnum, again, same old play, spots him, falls back. Seekers confirm what he's seen, but that could be a little bit of a problem. I believe that player is detained, is caught, but the TP comes through from KC to conserve the numbers. Narrate picked up a double on the run-through. The spike was in their spawn. It didn't matter about the site push, to be honest, once Narrate had his teeth into the round.
I feel like I've just had a stroke. Everybody died within like a second.
Did the admins restart the round?
Just an absolute
again, 11-7.
trade of kills. It's absurd. Oh, here we go. This was the push-up.
Oh!
Wow.
Because it looked ridiculous to me on the mini-map, but that is outrageous. Carry on.
Yeah, he's almost taken the top, by the way. I think there was a point where Martin must have been on something like 13, 14 kills, and he was on 5.
4 and 8.
Here we go. They have stemmed the bleeding. They have denied NAVI what was about to be a pacey take. I love the rotation they did there as well. Their teammate gets detained, the full squad rotates to make sure Tamazi's defended. For NAVI, they still have plenty to play with in this round. They are not on the brink just yet, but 5 rounds in a row needed.
Went on a little longer than Magnum was ready for. Well, it looks like another test for the young guns as the old guard of NAVI set their sights on the B site. Now, a nade's gone through, but the snake bite delays them. Reposition from Tamazi, and the shot breaking. The boom bot was from far away. They might not clear the corner on the way through with so many players here. Orbital Strike draws their eye. And now here's the opportunity for Tamazi. So low on HP, but Narate capitalizes as they look to trade. Now, I don't know how Tamazi got the second one. Still on 24 health. And it's Zagetsu who's going to have to capitalize. Sure, they've tagged up 2 of these players, but there's 2 healthy and ready to fight. Just now making it to site with a Viper's Pit, blocking out Zagetsu, and Spam's coming back. It's a formality at this point. One more round for KC. And that's what we're witnessing here, short of 20-second 1v4 through a Viper's Pit, and frankly, end the series here if Zagetsu wins it. Give him the win.
Yeah, I think he's given up at this stage. 12 seconds, otherwise the map is done, and it is dusted. KC will take their opponent's map choice. Some impressive plays coming out from their side. I think the highlight definitely has to go to Narate. And I don't know if NAVI are going to have a response, but they're always pretty good at the comebacks.
That they are, Tom. That they are. You can never count this team out. I've learned that, as many players have, the hard way. And for viewers, well, it means we're just going to have an impressive series ahead of us. The next map up is Sunset, KC's pick. They'll look to take it 2-0 after this.
What are we playing?
Ya lo sabéis, it's Halo Day.
Yeah, one sec, one sec.
He's playing football, isn't he?
Jahua, you know he fancies himself a footballer. Oh, whatever. Look, your love makes me but your hate makes me invincible. All right, let's get on Halo then. Let's go.
Ready.
Dale.
You went back this time, right?
Chill, chaval. I won't ghost you this time.
I'm going hallway.
I got right.
Uno fuera.
Up, another one down. Lock in. Next kill wins it.
Where is he? No lo veo.
Nisha, you hear that?
Quick on him, top left.
Bet. I'll push it. He's one shot.
Game over.
Got him.
Well played.
Same time tomorrow then.
We'll see.
Bye-bye.
Ciao. Nos vemos.
See about it. If you gon' speak about it, then be about it. If you don't bring that energy, no, I can't be around it. Nah, I'ma shoot my shot. I'ma stick it, watch. At the tippy top, I cannot take no loss. 2 seconds on the clock, they gotta give me the rock. I got a game on wet, yeah, I got a game on lock.
I feel like a champion. A champion. Ain't nothing that can't be done. Oh yeah. I put it all on the line. Definition of divine. I feel like a champion. A champion. Ain't nothing that can't be done. Oh yeah. I put it all on the line. Definition of divine.
Riot is the GOAT? Is the secret well-wishes their fanboy or something?
Seems legit.
Dude, pay some attention.
Every time like first time with you guys. 200 IQ. Yeah, sure. We'll see.
Well, that was a very interesting opening map between Navi and KC. We were talking about before the game kicked off, the fact that the Gentle Mates guys said, if you don't shoot KC first, they will come for you. And actually, to be honest, even when Navi did get some opening kills, if they didn't check Narrate for a pulse, they found out the hard way that he could come back and take each and every one of them down. Let's take a look at that incredible ace from the end of the first half still.
It's not only that, it's not only an ace, it's a 1v5. The way that he Narrate transfers one kill into the other. He makes this very good call, Angel probably the bad call, even though he had all the strats, he didn't see this one coming. Walks all the way out, gets the plant, everything. You're like, no way, right? He's only 20 HP. Xiao goes in, he throws the Thrash to find nothing because Xiao is still waiting. He just used the smoke to clear the corner. You think that everything's just lost. There's no way NAVI does this, right? Because it's probably the first 1v5 that we have in the entire year. But in the end, somehow, it's Narrate, he does it.
And when we're talking about like the defense here, oh god.
Can we look at Eng?
That's the funniest thing about that clip for me. It's not even Zaysh's reaction. It's Eng just being Eng. Like,
Just
I really want to have a
calm,
stare-off
stoic, and-
between him and Epic.
It just makes me think, right? It makes me just spend some time thinking about how it has to be on a daily basis in Prague, right? Because Eng is completely oblivious. Like, he doesn't care about the fact that Eng is literally shouting in his ear, and he's just like, I wonder if it's like that every day.
I also do want to actually look inside his wardrobe and see how many of those black coach tops he has. Yeah. Let's take a look at who's warming up in the AIM Labs warm-up. I believe it might be Mr. Martin. I mean, all of these players, I would love to just be a fly on the wall during their practice. Because, I mean, what happens when you get a team of duelists together? You get moments, obviously, like Narrate, even though obviously he's not in that role anymore still. And you just get magic moments.
Yeah, magic moments indeed. I think one of the things you need to really focus on, though, is like on the defense, because like we saw that in the 1 versus 5 that Narrate got, and obviously he has really good aim and he was able to convert that. We just need to see like the defense play a little bit tighter. Angel doesn't need to peek. They could play the 2 versus 1 after Narrate plants, and then there were also rounds that KC could have closed out. Like they could have won with a larger margin if their defense was a little bit tighter when it comes specifically to rounds where you just have to pick one spot to fight. Fight hookah or fight long or play the retake. You can't kind of be in between. That happened when way too much.
Yeah, let's take a look at Agent Select, because I know that we've got to talk about Sunset. What's really interesting to me is the fact that we haven't seen Navi play this match since kickoff. Have they gone again with the chamber run? They have changed it up. They have changed it up. So
Now
this is a whole new look that
Neon.
Casey has to contend with.
Yeah, exactly. This is one of the things that we were expecting Navi to do eventually, changing the composition, surprising the rival. Even though Artis did a good job on the chamber, this is a complete turnout of events. They should not play in the same way. Of course, Zipan is going to be set up, and if he has taken notes about what Team Heretics does in this map, you know, Minivu is a great player to learn from.
After we come back after this map, because I'm confident that this is going to be a full 3 maps we see today. It's just going to be you on your own. I'm going to put you at the telestrator wall. Let's go over, though, to Mitch and Tom to get this map underway.
You know what? I like it this way. Let's not hear from Steel. I've heard enough from him over the last. I'm kidding. I love you, Steel. I'm excited for this one though. KC coming in hot after map number 1, and of course Sunset now. I don't know where my expectations should sit because Navi, they had a couple of rounds where they were firing up, where they were looking like they were activated again, and then you have an ace come in from Narrate, and then you have the momentum swing to KC. Do we expect them to bounce back on map 2? We know Navi can.
I'm always going to expect them to bounce back. I'll be honest with you. I'm really excited to see Zipan come in on the Neon. I'd like, it's not something I can ever remember him playing before. I'll go have a look in a sec because I was not expecting that agent to come through at all. But I think for this map in particular, a lot of high-pace openers, and he's already running it down.
Oh, he's having to move out of the way quickly too. Can't quite move quick enough, but the trades come in. And Magnum is forced out of the B site by the looks of things. KC already going to be finding themselves in the back foot. Never mind. That was a blind spray through the smoke. Magnum's got a big smile on his face, and he's right to. Putting the numbers in their favor. The damage down as well, with Shao tagged up a little bit. KC can group up and work this one together. Still the flash on Narrate to make their way through, and a wingman to help on the defuse. This is going to be a strong round for KC as they get some information on the way through. Player on left blinded up and not taken out. In fact, it's the shock dart that finds a kill, and Shao triples up. Now it's all Tamazi, and the shoe has quickly found itself on the other foot. Navi with 4 kills from Shao claim the pistol.
They play better from a disadvantage. It's actually becoming a real storyline. It doesn't make any sense. The openers, the initial contact from KC, the ideas look sublime. Like you have the pop flash that just seems unavoidable, and then the fight back again. It is mostly Shao. It is the Shao show once again. They catch players on the cross. The utility looks decent, catching them with flashes, and then Angel gets one with a shock dart, and from then it just falls apart.
I mean, it was almost an ace from Xiao as well. He did enough damage. He was the one doing the damage in the first place that let that shock dart get the kill. So he walks out with 4 kills and 1 assist in the opening round. Xiao is getting involved, it's fair to say. On the attack side now, hearing a lot of steps and seeing a lot of players pushing up on B main. They might have taken it to A, but it's a little late for that even. These players are up close, look at the scrap. So they stick around, they do some damage, and now they set up for the late round with a nice advantage in their back pocket. The orb is the only thing that KC managed to claim as a positive. And in fact, I'm just looking at the HPs, it's not even a lick of damage done in return. Until then.
The bitch bag curse is even greater. Well, Ardis again, cleaning up some of these kills. To clarify, this is the first time we're ever going to see Zipan playing the Neon. Normally, if he's on a duelist, it was always a Raze. We never really saw him on anything else. It was mostly Ardis in that role. I guess he just likes the pacey movement characters. That's what we're talking about. The agents that give him that maneuverability. And again, we say this a lot, Tomazi is going to be there to try and do some extra damage. Now, he is someone going into this series I really want to highlight. Maybe not so much in this position. I don't think it's possible. But in their victory versus GX, the last time they played it, he was 26-14. And I believe that may have even been the first time he played the Cypher after what was a string of Viper. Like, we saw him play Viper pretty much all the way through kickoff as well. Switched up to the Cypher and was utterly fantastic.
My eyes will definitely be glued to Zipan. It's mainly the attack side, that space taking, that quick zipping around the corners, and any agent that gets him from the barriers into combat quicker will always be one that I vote for. Now, I'm looking at the setup for NAVI, and it looks like some A crunch is about to be attempted. The recon through gets them information. Martin, I love this. You know, he gets revealed, he gets suppressed. So what does he do? Runs forward and takes the orb. The guy has no fear, and rightfully so, because he's got an orb and some map control for his team, leaving one behind to watch it. But Shin is quickly going to have to give that up.
Yeah, of course, normally you'd look at this as a bonus round, but NAVI have gone for the classic and purchased up those extra rifles after a singular casualty in the last round. It makes this basically a 4x for them. Just a little bit risky, but gets away with it. And now they have a 4th player in. That's the thing for KC. They've got that rotation already into position.
Looking to take this one pretty quickly. Magnum's already been dropped in the way through, and an isolated Shin has every direction to look at. Not quite able to catch the player that was stunned up, and now they're closing the distance, looking to take the fight themselves. 5 versus 2, 5 versus 1, falling like flies on the side of KC, and Tomazi left on the other side of the map with the entirety of the attacking side, and most of them being fully fit and ready to fight. He's going for the save. The right call to bring the weapon through to the next, but not a great start to KC's map pick as NAVI walk away with a 3-0 lead.
No, especially as a team as well, that we have sort of marveled at how good they've been in these retake scenarios. I almost wonder if a lot of what this composition allows for NAVI is to just disrupt them. Like, they've got so much like sort of awkward utility. You see the stuns from Zipan is basically just put into those backlines. They're trying to jump in off the flash. They can't because they're stunned in a corner. For Tomazi, this now comes down to, can he hold on to his gun? And while he is doing well, at least in the initial fights, but it is going to be that trade out. It is going to be the bonus round victory for NAVI. And while for KC, there'll have to be some weaker weaponry going into this round, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. Just look at it. It's the sheer pacing off the back of the utility that I feel like you're never really able to build back into a retake when a team is playing against you like that.
I didn't catch what it was. I think it was the wingman as well that was thrown out, caught a stun on Zipan, but in the chaos, they couldn't follow up on it. I can't help but think, if you take him down, how different that round is from a space-taking perspective from NAVI, from being able to follow up on some of the utility, like the nade, the fragment that went down. Could have been a different round, but it wasn't. And KC now find themselves going into round number 4 with Sheriffs in their hand and a Spectre to work with. A slower start for this squad. They were a little slower to start in the previous map. Like we said, there were some troubles around the easier rounds. They were taking a lot of damage. Their economy was being tested, but then they woke up and it felt like there was no way to take their foot off the gas once they got going. For now, that won't be happening, as we already see Magnum go down, and it's not like you can really follow up on that trap from the current positions. Some easy space taking for the side of NAVI, as long as they can avoid these pistols. Maybe even the stinger too, because Narrate's got a double. And now the round is winnable again for the defensive side with the spike dropped out in the open. And it's not like they've got anyone that makes it easy to retrieve that.
No, a dart was just used as well, so they can't even try and clear any of these angles. The only thing that really benefits them is that none of the guns are retrieved yet. And I almost wonder if the side of KC are just going to opt to play the numbers. Try and group up, try and push this one together. Shin has got to be careful. Left. He's almost walked backwards into the angle. Angel now just looking to try and blockade.
I have the spike.
But instead, they're just very wary of where these players are going to be coming from. Just watching to see if anybody is looking to get a little bit ahead of themselves. Instead, he's going to throw out the dart, try and use that to almost distract as he will get the afterplant.
Reposition for the paranoia. I love it. It hasn't caught them, but it's forced them into a wider angle. Sagetsu down, and they know where Angel is, but look at the damage done. Already just 5 HP on Martine. It has to be Shin to help him out in this fight. They need to swing together, and the trade is found. Shin with a wallbang headshot on the Sheriff finds the first round for KC.
That looks like one of those shots where you're running away from being killed and you just shoot.
Just fire.
You just fire. If you miss, you've still got a few more bullets left to play with. But this was fantastic from KC. Again, just the timing of Tamazi. This is another statement that I don't think too many would disagree with. I think Narrate is the best Stinger player in the world. Like, I don't see anyone use it like him. It's just so absurd with what he's able to get away with on this gun. And why it gives a first round over to the side of Karmine Corp. And again, I believe, is this their pause once more? The second they win a round, it's almost like Eng's going, calm down, lads. Calm down, straight away.
Get the pieces together. I mean, this is it though, Tom. I do like the approach. You've just found yourself on some unstable ground. You've found yourself a little bit of foundation to stand on, and you want to use that like a launching pad, like it's a diving board to make a majestic entrance into the map. And I think following up on the back of this, you've got Navi's economy not really threatened due to their early buys, but Ultimate's online, and then that's a big deal for this squad. On the attack side, Artists can delete their utility and make their way into a site very quickly, and obviously you'll have Zipan sliding through angles. He's got a stinger in his hand, as we can see, and that means we're likely to see the finger guns come out.
That's the official name?
Yes.
To be honest, at least it's not the worst I've heard.
People will understand.
That is true. That is true.
I think you know there's not many abilities in the game that correlate with finger gunning.
Maybe in a few years. Maybe in a few years.
You never know.
Well, looking like even still, it's going to be more of a default. Zipan hasn't put this into play, but I think they're almost just selling this as a ruse, and the ruse so far hasn't gone too badly. 3 players in mid, 1 still waiting towards the spawn. It leaves just 1 man sat within the confines of the A site. If they were looking to just blitz this, which is exactly what it's going to do, overdrive in play, looking for that fire onto Shin, and will find it. The rest of the team are able to rotate quite quickly, but they're taking damage as they do. Narrate does well on the trades, and it's going to be down to just Tamazi, the rotator. But he almost has to fight this quick, otherwise they're going to have too many players to deal with.
And that's a tough round to watch. They fought ahead of the Cypher utility that was still online. Tamazi was playing in spawn specifically to keep those traps online. And they fight ahead of it. They give them the opportunity on the side of Navi to take duels and play this round on their own.
Okay.
2 feet.
Down A.
1 kill already. And the low HP Artist hasn't yet been spotted, and Tamazi's spidey senses are tingling. He has to give away his position. And Artist was more than ready to find him as he emerges around the corner. Tom, I can't help but feel like this is a round that KC set up very well, but the execution, it just wasn't there.
Yeah, again, I think that the fact that Shin is isolated so quickly, they're not quite ready for this, but yeah, they go very aggressively. I think it's just that reactive play, though. Like, you have that many players in position, you
just go for it.
Okay, are they all going to run around that corner at once? Someone's probably got an elbow. Maybe we can catch them before they get into the site. This time, though, it doesn't work out for them, and facing off against Zipan, facing off against the full force of NAVI, it's not worked out. Shin is on a hero rifle, and he has just TP'd forward into mid. No chance of retrieval if he goes down, and he does immediately.
They're gonna fight for this space. Yeah, there's no way you just leave this rifle on the floor. The flash used, but here's a paranoia Xiao. He's in a lot of danger with that nade. Almost goes down. Despite how close they've made some of these duels, just 4 HP. Xiao is clinging to life, but he'll continue to cling. Artis won't. He falls straight off that ledge. Good shot by Tamazi. A lot more to do. Even at that range, the headshot would be enough to take down Zipan. Not so, or even Angel as well. They were both tagged up, but they don't land. And now the way back through seems riddled with danger.
Yeah, showstopper available, but again, you're
no way.
Almost looking at a kill or two first. There needs to be something, and Sugetsu hits the timing. Nigh on perfect. 5-1 into the lead, this time a lot cleaner when it comes to their anti-ecos. But again, the thing is, I'm liking a lot of the ideas that KC are throwing out. Like a lot of these aggressive setups, the utility is fantastic most of the time, putting players into awkward positions. The fact is, though, they're just winning a lot of these fights. Putting them 5-1 up. Ultimates galore for the side of KC. Every single ult available for this round. I'm expecting something maybe a little bit proactive, because it does seem like with the pacing of Navi's takes, if they don't have that info early, they're in trouble.
They are slowing down the take this time. Looking across the map, more of a default again, but jump peeking mid, sending players out to see the push, ensuring there's no walk up on A, and then the knife goes down outside B main. There's no aggression, so they give him a couple seconds and then double check that KC aren't getting aggressive. Once that's not in play, I think Navi are going to realize they've got the say over how this round goes. That may just have, they may just have blinded the recon in time, that the drone doesn't actually see those traps on the way through. But I don't know if they're going to, they are going to go for B. They're rotating back straight into the Cypher setup.
Yeah, I think the plan initially was to hope that this site take went well, and then from the shadows across the map into the backside, but they haven't been able to get the space that they wanted. Hunter's Fury maybe could be used to try and get in on this, but with the cam still up, checking into mid, they're just going to try and almost walk it through, and there is that Hunter's Fury. Hasn't connected on that first player. Hoping for a little bit more, but they haven't really got anything from it whatsoever. Tamazi, though, this time falls immediately in the trade. Whoa, it's a little bit labored. Magnum's still alive. Shin has now come onto the table as well, and now, well, with all the ults just still in play, still being used along the way, Navi don't really stand a chance.
No, well, the 6 seconds left on the clock certainly doesn't help out, nor does the disadvantage in players that continues to stack up. Sugetsu now, question is, can he save this rifle through to the next? Can he make it costly is what he's thinking, going out to fight KC, but finding no one in a second round acquired in the bank for that defensive side. They need to keep... Yeah, look, it was. Actually, the blind was damn near perfect. Unfortunately, Tamazi did go down a little bit too early for those traps to do anything, but that was an interesting facet, just seeing it go right past them unaware. But the price was not paid in the end.
Yeah, this time you see what happens when KC are there on time. Obviously, had the ultimates to help them out as well. 3 utilized in that round, and again, just look at how pacey these takes are. Past all of the utility already. They know roughly where the setup has been already. And Angel now leading the way. They did the same again. Flashed off his drone. He's not going to find anything for it. And even though they got into the site, they've lost that first man.
They found my wire.
They have. The NAVI love to fight from behind. This is somewhere that they find value again and again. See if they can make it work this time, as the plant still needs to go down. Martine falls, and the aggression from Sugetsu shouldn't be expected. The flash is good, and Tamazi's follow-up even better. Now the info, as the hat comes off the head, Thrash finds its mark. And Angel, well, he's all alone up against the full might of KC minus Martine, and that's too much to deal with. A third round now for Karmine Corp, and the gap down to 2.
Yeah, I really like the way they're actually playing within this B site. Denying a lot of information of the pop flashes onto the drone, but you also just have their ability to retake together. Like, if they can keep that man advantage, they'll do their best to hold on to the backside, but ultimately they're very content to just fall back off and just play together in those post-plant scenarios. They've almost disabled Na'Vi from having those aggressive positions that they want to have and fight them before they can get into the retake. 2 rounds on the trot. Still, though, we are going to see them with a buy on the NAVI side. And Ultimates couldn't be further away from the majority of the KC players. Martin, though, he's just gone straight down mid. He wants to fight them immediately.
Yeah, I like the high flash that they're using to try and engage on that part of the map, but NAVI stepped back. They were cautious, and now the reward is being found. Quickly retaking the space, punishing Martin. Him down and out of the round early with Shin on 50 HP. This is a very good start for NAVI. The only problem is they're moving towards the A site where, like you say, Tom, the gambles come in. KC 3-man stacked on this site by the time the push comes through.
And they still have a drone to play with, but it might just be the silence. Oh,
nice.
Almost getting that kill through the box. It's some extra damage.
You should run.
Right, still within the site, but for them to deny anything here, it has to be a fallback into the retake. So they had all of this initial control in play, but unfortunately, because of that lockdown, they're not going to be able to do anything to deny this plant.
They know Angel's here now. That flash was thrown up and over. Paranoia through. Good double to start with, and Tamazi's not letting go. They know where Angel is. They've known the whole time. Now they can narrow it down to just the one player, and no defuse necessary, because they still haven't got the spike planted. NAVI slow to the start as it's 4-5. The gap down to 1, and KC looking a lot better. They've got the ball rolling 3 in a row now.
Yeah, this is the thing. I was thinking they're probably going to get the plant down. They'll probably get into a position where they go for the retake as a group, but they get there before NAVI can even react. You can see them just making their way around the elbow to get into a position to even put that spike down.
What can I say? What can I say?
He's right, man. This time he was just better.
And he is up there, 10-7 again. This guy just seems to thrive within this map. I initially, when I saw him come into this roster, I was like, oh, Duelist going on to a Sentinel. We've seen that one before, but looks very comfortable very quickly. And for NAVI, not feeling the same at the moment.
3 of those assists as well came off his ult. You know, I feel like so far Tamazi, when it comes to his utility, hasn't found nearly the value that I've seen set up for a defined. Players about to run into his traps, the team faces ahead of them, he gets caught by the ult. Same thing on B side, where they go to push, they don't see the traps, they're on their way out, Tamazi swings and dies. And, you know, to still have a good game when the core of your agent is not really working out for you, that utility's not hitting, but his shots are. And that's something else to talk about, that KC have always got that in droves, but so too do NAVI. 2 teams we could see, even if the game plan goes completely out the window, they can still win rounds and even games just off the individuals they've got on their roster. This time a real brawl on map number 2. NAVI were silenced early on Bind, their map pick, but there's still some fight left in them here. The series could go to 3. We need this attack side to show us a few more and a few more rounds. This is not a good start. Traded out early, Martin stays alive.
Yeah, it's one of those scenarios where I don't think Zipan is expecting 4 players to be peeking mid, and are actually going to go pushing it, realizing that the gun is there. Sugetsu, though, now they get the firefight, and it's Sugetsu to clear them all up. Tamazi, he said he's just better. He's got to try and do exactly the same. A second one, though. They're just facing up against this guy. Finally, they're going to go and get themselves a post plant. I've been waiting for it for a couple of rounds, but they didn't need to fight him. And now, 1 away from the neural theft, he gets a kill here. He's already on a fast flank. Might not necessarily be expected. In fact, Shao is just going to go walking in. Lucky for him that he survives, and Ardis is there as the backup plan, but for a second I thought the Portuguese youngster was going to prove himself again.
God, they had a 1v5 last map, could have been a 1v4 here, and you remember what happened to NAVI after that. Morale went in the bin, as you'd expect, as it would, and as it should. Great round by Sugetsu, though, to put NAVI back on the map. Back in the game, the lead extended back up to 2, 6 guaranteed, so an even half is now the worst case scenario, but we know the side of NAVI, they're good on attack. They can make this all the way up to 8 if KC aren't careful.
That's the thing as well, that was just a couple of hero rifles in play for NAVI. That was a round that they never really should have won, but KC, after taking that man advantage, wanted to fight again. NAVI, they don't give us a second notice. They are going straight through. They've had a lot of success getting into the B site, but the retakes have been solid. Martin again, Tamazi from the back, already giving them a double man advantage. A post plant should be available for NAVI, but this is the thing. look at what is left. Almost all of the utility, a neural theft to find that extra information. Good luck, Na'Vi.
It looks like that neural theft came in early. I don't know how he's predicting that with pinpoint accuracy, but Angel's got to be frustrated. Tapped down to 50 HP through the boxes. Last pack in the back, another one going through, and the push will come on the back of it. Not going to catch either player in the crossfire. Still good, but the defuse underway. Half already, and there's no chance to answer back. The 50 HP Angel was all that was left, and he deals the first blow to KC right at the end of the round. 6-5, and the defensive side looks to equalize things at the half. They've definitely got the money to do it. Over on Navi, I think they're going to be facing a little bit more of a struggle as they go to invest into this final round.
This is the thing with this KC B-side defense is they're so quick to react to everything that Na'Vi is doing. It's pacey from Na'Vi, it's direct, but not once do I feel like KC have been truly caught off guard by the things they're doing, at least from the first few rounds. Once they saw how quick things were going to be, they've been so good at reclaiming space. This round was in mid, just getting back in behind them, but also just playing off those advantages once they had them. And Na'Vi looking like a broken record. They're going to try it again. This B-side success has been minimal.
And, you know, this time they'll get success, as in they'll get towards the site and even find a plant. What to do with it from there? Angel picks up another orb. So you've now got a Hunter's Fury online and the plant coming through. But the big deal is that showstopper. Martine picked up an orb earlier on and now has it online to work with. Magnum dropped right off rip. But now they'll look to entry back through, and here it comes. The showstopper any moment now as the nade goes through to the right. Martine gets up nice and close. Blast packs in play. Does he find his mark on the way through? They've fallen back, and he will find Xiao. But at what cost? The trade out. It forces them into the angle. The Hunter's Fury firing off all the while, and now they can spray up against that wall. Not finding a kill as they do, but the shots coming back confirmed there's two. They know this round is already in the books for the side of Navi, and the round not going to matter what happens afterwards as the half comes to a close. It's 7-5. Good showing by the attack side here. Pistol, though, could narrow that gap massively.
Well, yeah, I'm also interested how Na'Vi are going to make this work on the defense, because they've got a lot of information. That double initiator with the Sova and the KO. The thing that I'm questioning is the Neil, because you're going to have a lot of setup play. A lot of teams, when they've had these more aggressive compositions, might throw something like a brick chin, so you can have those aggressive stuns, but a lot of that is just going to be Zipan on his own, trying to push the map. And the thing is, when you have a Neon, most of the time, your opponents are going to be able to assume that you're going to be doing that. So I feel like KC are going to be able to sit pretty and almost be patient in a lot of the early rounds here to just try and deny whatever plan there is for Na'Vi.
Well, that's what we saw Navi doing quite a bit. I think after map 1 as well, where KC had a bit of flair to their defensive side, a few aggressive pushes that caught Navi off guard. It makes sense that they'll come in with the same sort of approach. Now on that defense, looks like retake set up on B. KC have a lot of players to deal with on the way through, but that blind is perfect. No chance for Sugetsu to fight. Xiao, though, does some damage on the cross. Angel down as well, and KC yet to find an angle to fight from. Looks like just recovering that wingman and not going to main. Smoke online for Shin, but not used. They just want to fight this, and it's worked out to start.
That was disgusting. Peeking ahead of the util. This time, though, the trade is in. Information should be grasped, but they don't actually spot the third player. That could put a little bit of doubt in the minds of this Na'Vi side. The spam not connecting anything, but now they need to get onto this. Sugetsu can only find one, but they are sticking it on that defuse. They've made it to half, but both players are within one shot. In fact, all it takes is one bullet from Magnum. They will get things within one round as KC are on 6.
And now the pendulum swinging a little bit more towards that KC side. Early injection of rounds with a pistol under their belt. And a scrappy fight. The fact that Narrate sticks around on the site to look for more. Swings into a stun as well. Using their stun almost as a signal for himself. Letting him know, oh, we're going to push now. He knows there's a target there to be claimed. It's a narrow margin, but one that ends up sitting towards KC. Now they look to equalize things, and you can see that Navi don't have a lot to work with. Even despite the weaknesses that are in play, they don't decide on the defense to group up, play the numbers, and try to win some brawly fights. Instead, spreading out, evidently feeling the potential of those lighter weapons. Early on, spotting one on A, and the rotate on the back of it, Thomas, we can see is very, very well gambled by NAVI. 4 players on B.
And the problem is there really isn't any real weaponry to play with. They're just going to have to be hopeful some mistakes are made, some shots are whiffed. And while you can see, at least for now, that's not happening. Martin just farming up the frags, looking to get ever closer to that showstopper, which will still be relatively far away. The player's low, there are still opportunities. Now, he's been given the pistol because they want him to actually hunt. If he goes down, it's not a problem. They'll still have themselves the weapon for the next round. And for Angel now, try and find someone on 14 HP. It isn't going to happen. Scoreline equalized, as clean as can be really for KC, with only a ghost dropped. And they'll now go for a similar buy into this one, with Thrash just 1 away.
One player was 9 HP, so you could have seen another weapon falling to the floor. I think it works out for Martin, though, hunting to try and get that extra orb, nice. Be it by death or by kill. Or some way it was going to find its way into his back pocket. Now you've got Martin 3 away. Showstopper's not going to be online in this round. Well, you never know with Martin. But it won't be used if it does, if he gets 3 kills. I don't want to see him popping it. For Narrate, 1 away. Very possible that we get a Thrash. And in this round, especially when NAVI put their credits on the line, any ultimate could be massive to bridge the gap between your 2 buys. KC side, see aggression on B. The reaction is to shift their way towards this A site. Paranoia used, and they'll quickly make their way in. Problem is, it's a very passive setup from NAVI, so KC wastes a lot of time just throwing out this util, clearing every corner meticulously.
Yeah, they've got some utility that can buy extra time. I think that's the main goal. It's not worked out though. Sugetsu goes peeking. Zipan is caught trying to fight into mid. It's not going well for the side of NAVI until Shao at least manages 1. It's 2. He's on the boost. That's such a common spot for Omen players, and he's got away with murder.
I guess again, tunnel vision by the flash that went through. They see a player on the side. That's where you're looking as you swing on in. Not expecting a sneaky little play from Shao. He escaped with 44 HP as well. Tamazi gets nothing in the way of information other than 1 player close, which is something they could have guessed. For NAVI,
30 seconds left.
Knife gets nothing, so you start the rotation. Start to think about where these players on the attack could be taking the spike. That's why we see Angel on the other side of the map, but Artis has to stand strong, and it's only 1 kill found. Now they move ever closer. Rash is used, of course. They expect more players to be here, but it is wide open for the taking. The plant needs to be safe, and it looks to be. Nothing to really push them out. Angel might have a shock dart ready, but he's got his rifle in hand instead, looking for the fight. They're separated. Shock dart through to force him into Shao's waiting arms. It's only Narrate left. One of the strongest players we've seen in quite a while, but he's got to get on that spike. It's being diffused as we speak, and he's forced into 2 different angles. No way to win that with Angel landing an 8th round for NAVI.
Yeah, that's an oversight. That's the difference in that round, at least I think. And unless they did smoke it and he was just spamming through, but no, it's the classic Omen spot that you've got to check on your way in. And that was what recovered the round. A fantastic round it was from Shao. Right up there on that scoreboard. About 8-7. Lead taken by NAVI once again. Still, there's going to be plenty to purchase in with. Bear in mind, again, for KC, that was their bonus round, even if it had majority rifles. They're going to go into the default, building up space early. Martin, in fact, well, Timmy the turret's gone, but that's the showstopper, more importantly, as the orb is claimed.
Okay, see a team that does well once they find those early leads, Tom, but I think this younger squad, where they could be tested, especially against a squad like NAVI, the difference is the experience is what they have to fall back on. And sure, Magnum's been on that stage a million times, but the rest of the squad, they're that little bit more green. Certainly, I think Angel probably has more competitive years combined than the entirety of KC combined under his belt.
We get it, he's old. You could leave him alone.
He's elderly. Elderly is the word. But that's why NAVI can go 10-2 down, still win the map and win the series afterwards. The side of KC, we've yet to see that sort of, well, from most teams, we've yet to see that sort of comeback, sort of resilience. TP used, cancelled, and now spotted 2 players towards the spawn. They know exactly where these defenders are. They might not know that there's 4 players on B, though. It's stacked up. Martin on his way through. Good rocket, it hasn't found the kill. In fact, these players still on NAVI are dishing out damage. 3 versus 2, down to a 2 versus 1. But Tamazi has to retrieve that spike, and well, if he sprints through, he's gonna pick it up for free. He's in and he's out.
An immediate shot and the reveal available. Timing here is going to be absolutely everything, but Angel just slightly ahead of where he expected him to be. Way too close once again. We've seen so many rounds within this matchup come down to just a singular player. And while KC, with the space, with the showstopper, again, there were expectations that they could have taken that round home. But it's just these gamble plays, these risks taken, these fights won from the side of NAVI that keep them in the lead for now. Unfortunately for Karmine Corp, this is going to put them in an awkward position financially. The Sheriffs in play, which, you know, they've been able to do quite a lot with very little with some of the gambles that they've had throughout. On their attack, though, that might be a little bit more difficult.
It's a flash and smoke heard going down in mid as well for KC. What you can do about that, but it will get the alarm bells ringing that mid take is underway, that there could be players now pushed close, ready to fight. That market could be being contested, and we see a lot of the numbers for KC, in fact, all of them, focused towards this part of the map. They're going to dump a fair bit of utility to retake this position, but now spotting a passive Shao, start to realize what you're truly up against. And a spam from Artis gets a kill.
Yeah,
I mean, that is just unfortunate.
Cleared one out. Angels repositioned, but it's a little bit labored. And then look like they're still tempted to fight this. Bear in mind, the weaponry is so far in Navi's favor that they don't really have a need to take gambles here. It's worked out for Artis, though. Winning every single fight put in front of him. On for the ace, as Magnum is the only man remaining. May just try and get a plant in. Instead, though, he's going to go pushing. He wants to give Artis the fight, and Artis will take it all day long. An ace to put their 10th round onto the board. His ult's online, no surprises there. But that, of course, was a low buy round for the side of KC, so expectations not the highest.
For sure, I'll give you that, but it got a little scary. I think Artis has done a remarkable job to pull this back. If he even grabs 2, this round could have slipped out.
The Swedish knives.
Yeah, synchronized as well. They've been practicing that one. Well, 10-7, 3-round lead for NAVI. Map 3 will be Sunset if we make it there, and it's becoming increasingly likely.
Oh,
Sunset? Hey, we're gonna
play this one again.
We're going again. I've liked watching these guys play it so much. I want 40 rounds. We had that one before on Bind. But as we look towards this A site, KC stacked up, ready to go, rifles in hand, but the main thing I'm looking at is Narrate. He's got his ultimate. It's not going to be used. Instead, it's just Martine going out. Their own recon drone.
Well, from 0 to 0. Artis already gone, pop flash over the top. Angel and Shao already, again, it's these preemptive retakes, but grouping up as a unit. Sugetsu has been able to find a gap. Martine low, but a high-low setup makes this fight fairly awkward, maybe not quite in line, though. That will leave it up to Magnum. 2 kills already to his name, 2 more needed to be found. And he's going to have to take a peek around this. Does manage the kill onto Sugetsu, just 5 HP remaining for him. And while Shao, I think NC ends up wallbanging him in the end. Again, it comes down to one player. We've seen it so many times. And for KC, at least in this map, they've been on the wrong end of it.
The fight's on the way through. I think for KC, there's a moment where you start to see them put the pieces together. Seems like everything's lined up for them, but that 2v2 opening pick, there was no way. And yeah, I mean, the call was obviously made. They started to do the math, realize he's not sitting pretty on HP, so fire a few through. Echo, locate the reload. The ultimates for NAVI now towards the end of the game, 11-7, 2 rounds needed. And they've got 3 big ultis online, a lockdown just around the corner as well. The worst timing possible for KC to be facing off against such a stacked ult economy. They've only got Thrash themselves to try to find the value back.
Again, selling some information into mid. They've done quite well to take this control in the majority of rounds, but obviously last time they got slaughtered by Artis, although that was a weaker purchase. You can see the setup already being put into place, though, from NAVI. A paranoia set up against the wall if they are to try and face this A site. And NAVI desperately hunting for some sort of information, but it is very slow from KC, trying to give absolutely nothing away. It's difficult to do when you're playing up against the Sova KO combo. They normally find something, and while they've spotted one in the back of mid, Angel doesn't need to overface this now that they've got that man advantage.
Cage trigger.
That drone just spotted 2, maybe even 3 players on mid. Good bit of information to play
30
with.
seconds left.
Although the shock might not find its mark, NAVI just need to sit back as Thrash comes through, clears out some space, but a glorified recon drone and indeed cancelled out by the ult in play. A good attempt by Magnum to find value, but spotted with perfect timing from Xiao. The defensive side stacks the advantages now, 5 versus 3 as Hunter's Fury is called in, and another nail in the coffin of this round. It was almost a guaranteed kill for the Hunter's Fury, but Artis went swinging ahead of it, leaving Tamazi on 5 HP, trapped in a corner. To even get out of here with the weapon, I would be surprised. Here they come. And okay, he finds the first and all 3 afterwards. Okay, keep the weapon,
Yeah, keep
Tamazi.
it. It's yours, it's yours. Well, I didn't mean to take it. I'm sorry.
It's 22 and 15, and they're 12-7 down. That's not a bad scoreline for a Cypher, but it's a bad scoreline for KC.
God, I love this though. The combination of utility. You can see KC. I said they're playing up against the Neon Comp. You're expecting aggression. You're expecting all of this different sort of pushes and util and something to give it away. But NAVI really didn't do a lot. They held everything until the last few seconds, and you can see KC just fumbled it at that stage. Running through against that Hunter's Fury. Orb claimed, but at a cost of HP, and considering this could be the last round of the map, look at the buy. A Bulldog, Guardian, Stinger. It's not pretty.
Thank God Tamazi saved that weapon. Yeah, this could have been very awkward if he had went down. Against all odds, he managed to repel that final push. But now it's them that has to find success on the pushes again and again. 5 rounds in a row for KC to get back into this one, and the blast pack hasn't worked out. Straight into the path of the bullets of Navi. The wall up, and Shin will try to cross. He'll get safely into the corner. But Xiao is around here looking to drop them, even as Artis is pushed back, and he'll just about make it out.
Yeah, they had to retreat. Neural theft gave them away. Drone will do the same on the other side, but Narrate is going to deny them at least a little bit of extra space. Still the rotation coming through from Sugetsu. A single kill for him will get his ult online. Spotting a player in the back corner, but again, this group up, this aggression coming out. It comes down to the 1v1, and Sugetsu is going to be there to close it. Locked down for a little bit of a celebration, but ultimately, once again, NAVI lose their own map. They go into their opponents, and guess what? The exact same scoreline the other way around.
We almost should have seen this coming, Tom. You know, I feel like we've let you down at home. It might even be 13-7 on split. To who? Who knows? After this display, NAVI are certainly not down and out of the series yet, but there's one more map to decide the victor. Let's go to split after the break.
I know a place that will break you into 1,000 pieces. Stay away from them. Stay away from Lorca, Paco, and Picasso. Don't ask about Lola. Ay, Caballo Grande. Ay, Dolor de Nieve. But in spite of everything, it occurs to you to visit Andalusia. Don't say I didn't warn you. Be careful of the Andalusian crush.
Hey guys, it's Jimmy Lin, former professional Counter-Strike player and Valorant coach. Watch out for the stairs, clear this angle, you're going to be able to fight this.
Red Bull gives you wings.
You're stressing right, you need some meditation. Don't let them ruin your vibe, no time for rumination. Let's leave it all behind, take a flight, aviation. Want you, girl, by my side, let me show my appreciation. I want you here with me, I miss your body, baby. No, I cannot believe that you're still single, lady. Wishing I could retreat. I want you here with me. Be my lover, be my, be my, be my, be my trophy, be my, be my, be my, be my woman, be my lover, be my trophy, be my, be my, the only one I want. Be my preliminary. Let me caress the way I think it's necessary. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, babe, 7 days, are you ready? I don't need to say you know it, girl, you're extraordinary. I want you here with me, I miss your body, baby. No, I cannot believe that you're still single, lady. Wishing I could retreat. I want you here with me. Be my lover, be my, be my, be my, be my trophy, be my, be my, be my, be my woman, be my lover, be my trophy, be my, be my, be my.
Well, we told you it was going to be a banger, and we were not lying to you. We are going to be going to a third and final deciding map in this matched up between, I was about to say matched up / showdown, and try and like mash these two together. We're going to be obviously seeing what happens between KC and NAVI in just a moment, but first of all, we got to talk about what actually happened. Josh, it was a close first half before NAVI definitely took control of the situation. What did you think of the performance?
Well, I think NAVI had a really good start to the game. They had the first 3 rounds, they got pistol. Round 2 conversion was easy. Round 3, they go into an ace split on what would be their bonus round, and once you have all the control of A main and elbow and you're able to converge on the site, it's just so easy for you to just wipe out anybody in the site, and that's where KC was. They lose that round, then they pick up the next round on an eco note nonetheless by having a really good just timing flash from the get-go. We had narrate just flash push through a smoke on contact, but I think the name of the game there was NAVI just getting the first kills consistently, and it wasn't necessarily even on their executes. It was a lot of these dry fights. It felt like KC was bleeding out their entire defense half.
Yeah, and actually I was, looking at how Zipan was going to perform, now going on the Neon and just playing something different with the support also working differently. And actually on the attack, he had the effect that I think was expected from him. And on the other side, we saw Artis coming alive, just, given the kind of rounds that we always love to see from him, given that ace, even on the ecos, that is those kind of rounds that give you the confidence boost to, if you're going to take this to a map 3, to even be a contender in it.
Did you think that NAVI were relying on these individuals like Artis too much, or was it more of a case of, right, they're feeling themselves right now, let's just let Artis go?
I honestly think that they understood how to play against KC, and as Josh is saying, like being able to turn this fight into your favor, it also brings us back to the point that we were making before the match even started. KC with prep, really good. They know how to do things, but because of the sometimes inexperience of Magnum, which we cannot blame him for, the mid round and actually the adapting on the fly to someone changing the composition and therefore their plan in the game comes as of a surprise.
I think Navi having Artis face checking KC so frequently, and it's when you look at the kills that he was getting, especially in that highlight reel, he's making quick work of them. It's not like these really extended, drawn-out fights. Within the first 3 or 4 bullets, he's got at least the first kill, and then it's easy to spiral from there.
Well, this is the interesting thing. KC, they like to prep, and they couldn't really prep for Navi. We hadn't seen them play Sunset since kickoff, and they've changed the composition since then. Chamber out, they've got the Gecko in, but they do know what to expect as we head on to Split, I imagine. Yeah. So in terms of this, I guess what are the win conditions, what are the deciding factors do you think in this matchup?
One, first of all, the preparation, as you're mentioning. Also, I think that KC might have some edge here because they changed the composition recently, right? They swapped the Astra out, and I think that if they're finding a place where they're comfortable in Split no matter what, maybe changing the composition back onto NAVI so they have less preparation on you can be an edge for them. What do you think, Josh?
The thing is, I'm not even sure if Navi really changed their game plan based on who they're going against. I feel that their main thing is they play their style, and they have their individuals that have their individual styles within that entire structure of Navi, and that's where we see individuals flourishing. For example, Artis there, just taking every fight he can in the chaos of things.
Do you think Navi are changing things up as they go on the fly? Because when we're talking about attack rounds, for example, from Navi, we're talking about this very slow style, controlling the tempo, but actually when they came back from being 10-1 down last week, actually that's when they did change the tempo. That's when they did get into people's faces.
Yeah, definitely. And it wasn't Split, so so it's the kind of map where even if they feel the pressure, is the kind of team that it doesn't matter what the score says, they will try and bring it to like their place. It's not like even if the other team has got the momentum of getting a 10-1 half, ended up in a 10-2, they have the resilience and obviously the experience to even take this further and also adapt on the fly, because round by round, like bringing back a 10-2 is not something that many teams can do.
It's also a testament to kind of where Split was a few years ago to where Split is now, where, there's so much back and forth. Like, it's very defense-sided. Oh, now it's very attack-sided. And depending on who you're playing against, depending on what side you're starting and depending if there's like a breach in the comp, for example, it feels like you can get such very different results and score lines within the match. So we might see them playing a really good defense one against one opponent and then a really strong attack against the other. And it's just, you never know what side you're going to get because part of it is their loose play style, individualistic play style as well.
Do you like the breach on this map still?
I like it, yeah. I think it has its place.
I like it a lot when it's paired with Killjoy. There's a lot of Cypher plays or picks on this map by a lot of teams, or you'll see just the double controller with no Sentinel. I think Killjoy makes the comp work really well, but we're seeing a lot of like double duelist with the breach.
I think that it also looks very good, but maybe it's becoming a little bit too predictable for KC. In their match against Gentlemates, we also saw them using the typical plays that Martin I'm not used to do it in kickoff. Well, I think he knows really well how to get the best out of the Euro, but the problem is that we see those rounds, and they happen time after time. You know, like from one match to another. If Navi wants to come prepared, and if KC doesn't change anything, they will know what to expect and how to react to those things.
Well, last time Navi ran this comp, they didn't even play a Sentinel. There was no Killjoy, but there was a breach.
Yeah, when you have that, it's when you go into defense, you have to make sure that you can't set up the traps. So you either have to do a lot of these blind type of plays where you have to just to make a decision to fight an area without information, or you have to save and hold your utility for the retake. And that works really well after the attackers use all of their things, like all of their abilities, and they have nothing left, and then the defenders come in fighting heavy.
Yeah, and most of it, not having that Sentinel comes off with having the Viper, right? That kind of responsibility relies onto her, on how she can defend the sides, how she can retake the space and regain the control over zones, as important as the mid. As we're saying, no changes in the compositions. This is exactly what they played last time that they played here in EMEA. Probably both teams not expecting to get this far into the day.
When I look at this comp and I remember how much of an X factor.
Which one of them?
Sorry, you're right, Karmine Corp. Where Narrate's usually he's a flex player, but when Martine's on Yoru, Narrate gets to play Raze, and they do this double duelist comp. And Narrate
It goes boom.
Pardon me?
It goes boom.
Narrate goes boom on whatever agent he plays. I know I'm missing the Raze joke there, but he just does. Have you been broken?
A little bit, yeah.
We've literally been waiting all day for you to break.
Okay. Narrate, when he gets to play not initiator, and he is such an X factor for this team, so when he gets to be really loose with Raze, really cool things happen. He goes boom.
I can't wait for things to get loose and wild as we head to this deciding game of Split. It is, of course, KC versus Navi. Who is going to take it?
Well, that's a tough question to answer. So tough, we've spent the last 2 hours battling it out, trading map picks, and moving down to the final map, Split. Tom, coming into this, where's the momentum sitting? I mean, they've traded round for round, 13-7 for 13-7. Any advantages you see coming into Split?
Probably the attack side, at least for Navi. There's some history there the last couple of times they played it. 11-1 attack and an 8-0 attack the 2 times they played it. Both versus Liquid though, so hopefully KC are going to be able to hold on a little bit better. For now though, they start on that defensive side, and I'm sure the Navi work when it comes to this map. A map that they probably knew was coming, because KC have been very good at this map. And with an explosive composition, they're going to start things out on that attack side. Exactly where you'd want to be. For now, though, it's patient, tempered, expecting maybe some sort of aggressive push. As I said, they don't have a Sentinel. They don't have a whole lot of information over on that Navi side. So there has to be the push and pull of the map. They have to go looking. At least for now, they're not doing that. They are sitting back. They're waiting.
They're biding their time. A patient face being shown. KC looked to quicken their pace on the attack through mid, but it's all a ruse. The whole intention here just to draw these players in and will rotate, and for a second it looked like it might have worked. Zagetsu started to move towards the spawn. The early rotate though cancelled, still with lots of utility on that B site, but it will be Hay that's tested instead. Artis, full belt of util that he's working with, no shields. The impact will be felt as already slowing down the Heaven drop. Fragmenting the push to site. They'll try to scrap with the players on ramp, already dropping Magnum, and now Zagetsu's on the right clicks. He's found himself a double, and they haven't seen Artis either. Oh, it's looking beautiful. It's looking clean. And it finds 1 round on the board for Navi in the end. I don't mind the idea from KC, the group up, the split push, but Artis, he made them pump the brakes.
Yeah, he just denied them that explosive pace that they want. And that is the thing, when you're running a composition that revolves around a Yoru and a Raze, you're going to be looking to pressure with these sort of explosive moments, because you don't really want to be in these sort of slower rounds because it doesn't really fit with the composition that they're running. So the fact that he was able to delay them, pull the rotations from the other side of the map, Navi are going to have themselves the pistol. And because of that, there's really nothing invested for the side of KC. Normally you might see a Sheriff, a Ghost, something at least to try and put onto the board.
Bring them down.
But they have gone flat out classics. Well, selling a bit of a ruse, even with the paranoia, the space being taken by Martine. Now the rest of the players are going to go pushing. You even see that Xiao, though, is still there.
Cover going.
Yeah, again, that piece of utility being used, the paranoia, it will often grab the rotations. It'll draw the eye, but not this time. Push out, not even going to allow that spike to be planted, with Zipman picking up every which kill. 4 away from the showstopper in round number 2, and still a few kills to be picked up. They know Martin was on the ramp earlier on, and he is slowly making his way towards this site. Angel about to spot him, and there's the information sealed away. And Angel will be hunting him down. So, what can they possibly do from this position? 40 seconds, a ton of utility, spike down on B site, and Martin's being caught in the open. Doesn't look like we're going to see anything, but damage, well, he'd need 3 kills before NAVI felt the sting of it.
30 seconds left.
I think just having a little run around, trying to find something. Shin will at least kill off 1.
They even saved the pistol.
Something going to be hit the ground, but that's it. And for the side of NAVI now, this is where, again, you're going to see those investments. Angel able to purchase back up with a rifle, if he so desires. Going to be able to close the gap a little bit going into this next round. Of course, though, this is where the rifles will be on the board for every single member of KC. And as I said, a lot of what their comp revolves around is going to be those explosive hits. That's why you sort of saw the rotation slightly pulled off that paranoia. There's not a whole lot for them to play off of other than that to take them space.
I think Martin's flashes are going to play a pretty big role in clearing a lot of these corners. See this Yoru play with his team a bit more supportive than we'll sometimes see, but even in that second round, the ideas from KC were clear. They had the TP up on the paranoia. Martin doesn't need it this time, though, taking the clean fight onto Xiao and trading out the advantage now for a little bit of HP lost. KC sit with a ton of map control as well, and the pressure being applied to Angel with players still in mid, I thought was going to drag the rotate. But again, Tom, they start to move away from this A site, but decide to play the numbers on site itself instead. It could pay off, but KC haven't decided where they're going.
I feel like this might just be a gamble based on past matches. Like a lot of the time, we have seen KC lean towards the A side of the map. I think, again, just having more opportunities for where you can TP on the Yoru. And it's a lot easier to sort of create dysfunction. Instead, though, narrate, it's just an attempt to try and sell a ruse. And in fact, it seems like it may have even worked. Angel started the rotation back, but now they go pushing as well. Nothing really being seen. The fake out is going to give away that the players coming in on A, where all of the NAVI members are waiting.
They're so ready for this fight. Sagetsu's good for the first, but Magnum's done a world of good for this attacking side with 10 seconds left. They set foot on the site, and the spike will see the floor in the last couple of the round. KC 3 versus 1, and it's the leader of NAVI leading by example this time if they're to have any chance, and well, that paranoia has sealed his fate. 1 round on the board for KC.
Yeah, and then the fact is the gamble from NAVI definitely was the right call. They had Angel on the other side being able to hunt for information, but a lot of it just came down to the battles. Sugetsu not really able to land the shots that we've come to see from him. And
good job, guys. You was full blind, that's why she picked. Good job,
they do manage to clear things out. 2-1 though, and as I said, an immediate response in terms of the purchase. NAVI comfortable with the rebuy. Now, From the Shadows is available. This is one of the maps where I think you've already seen the defenders actually mark. And there's going to be an expectation that either you can see From the Shadows or just the straight TP and pressure immediately in onto NAVI.
There will be a moment to breathe as the A site is realized as the true target. Sagetsu picks off the player on B, but now they see it's wide open. Sprays through the smoke. A little bit of damage done, but KC took away. 3 players on site, and Martin's not got the best of positions. It is a good spot, but as we can see on the map for this retake, it doesn't look like it will find any fruit. Said he has to be swinging as they make their way out onto the site, and it's a very narrow gap in margin for him to take, but he'll find one off the reveal. The snake bite is perfect, and Tamazi even swings in for a headshot on Xiao. That one was a little quicker than I thought. Once the first bullet was fired, it was only a second till the round was decided.
Yeah, the utility combos there were perfect. Magnum having his siege for the late round, stopped the first players coming through. Then they had a snake bite that went a lot deeper to hold them in place, even getting a kill itself. And then you had that contact play from Martin to swing off it as well with the flashes. That was perfect in the post plant from KC, and you can see the reason they're willing to sort of sacrifice Narrate in is because they have so much in terms of that extra utility just to create a horrific re-entry from the side of NAVI. An immediate equalization. As said, expectations definitely lean for both sides to have a prominent attack, but NAVI in this round, well, I don't know if they're going to have much to resist KC taking the lead.
Could be some lucky plays to start. Stun the blast pack through and a judge up close. That's one way to handle it. And you know what? They make this much noise. I like it because once they slow it down, this is where KC start to ask questions. You've seen the nade, you've seen the stun, you've seen even a reveal go up and over in the haunts, but nothing else afterwards. They maybe have given it up, they're rotating, but no, there's a judge close.
Spike down, B.
And now they start to realize what was going on, why everything got so quiet so quickly. The advantage sits to NAVI, and in a round like this, oh, it's so valuable to be able to group up, and sure, the trades aren't likely, but if you find them, the round can be yours. The lead can stay to NAVI.
Oh, the thing is though, Angel, he's actually going to go pushing. He manages to get 2 of that. I feel like he should have been dead almost immediately. Just catching them a second time. You got to feel foolish for KC at this point. 2 aggressive pushes, 2 with massive success, and even the stinger is going to be there to close out Martin.
The 30 HP stinger.
Yeah.
He couldn't even take a bullet there. Oh, man.
That's a huge blip. Like, the judge, I feel like you can be forgiven. Maybe needed a bit of utility, but that's just absurd. The fact that Angel's able to get away with 2 kills off the back of the Sheriff. This is the thing with this NAVI roster that's always so difficult to deal with, is even when they have an advantage in a low buy, they're still looking to push you. They're still looking to kick you while you're down.
Cutting through.
This is it, Tom. We said that it was hard to really see anything for this squad. I like that. A little bit of ground taken on the gate crash. 1 player spotted up top, 1 player down below. Nightfall used. This is for NAVI now, confirming that there's no one outside A. They've sent the rotation of Zipan already. He wants to make it to Heaven, but Heaven's being lost. It's being given up. Showstopper makes its way down below. Hasn't been activated just yet, but as the ults come in and the players cascade onto the site, here comes the rocket. A big opportunity, and it's found 2! Zipan on point with his 3rd shot, swinging in for more, and he'll eventually be shut down. But he's done his job, and he's done enough. 3v1. And Magnum has to dig deep to have any chance at taking this across the line. They know where he is. The seize is perfect, but he was already low. It does little to change the outcome, which is another win for NAVI.
Yeah, they've been, again, even Little Bro's on their side. A little bit of a traitor, it feels, but this is the thing. I know, like, you look at these set executes from KC, and that's what we sort of marveled about with their attack.
Guys, I'm
is they'll just very quickly build into rounds and then just explode into the site. Well, you've had disruptive stuns coming through from artists to slow them on the push, and then just these players just sprinting through smokes, taking aggressive plays to try and catch them as they run into the site. Obviously already knowing they were there because of Artis's life being sacrificed. Already caught with the seize, just about gonna scrape through that one. Again, early util just causing awkward fights, awkward situations for Karmine Corp, and well, they don't have that much to play with in this round. In fact, it's diminishing as seconds go by.
Well, you heard Angel at the end of the last round of the replay. He was saying, I'm a genius. And it was the ult on A that gave them all the information. He called for the early rotate. It was well managed. But now that they're up against the lighter buy, they've picked off Tamazi easy. The numbers locked in their favor, 4 versus 2. Spike was dropped earlier, could now have been retrieved. But look at the reposition by Sagetsu as well. Up close, Narrate doesn't have anything to clear this corner bar. Nade, of course, it would be blind. It's more the boombot not being there. He can't get the information. Swing is good. I like the idea by KC. They're giving themselves a chance. That chance quickly fades away in the face of Zipan. 5 rounds now for the side of NAVI. The defense building them up. And we don't expect them to slow down too much moving into their attack. We need to see KC get on the board soon.
Yeah, I wonder when the the pause button is slammed, because these last few rounds, it does seem like NAVI are almost reading from the strat book. They've managed to get information early in the majority of rounds. As said, like a lot of that, when you're running only one initiator that actually gets you information, can be quite difficult. But even if it's an ult that doesn't find any tags, it's enough to pull those rotations. Aggressive start to this one for Xiao. He's definitely gone down once or twice, but after the spot is in, Viper's Pit will deny this space, or at least you think it will. They're setting up a Prowler. They're gonna send the fake out in.
They know where he is.
Showstopper gonna be used, and Sagetsu goes down to it.
That's so smart. Yeah, the decoy was sent through. As soon as it's broken, they can put him in a box. They know exactly where he's playing, and in the worst case, he can't get away. Nice shot by Zipan.
Paranoia as well was so well timed.
The nade too. Not only are you blind, but you have to move as well. It's so much harder to keep your crosshair pinned on those ropes and fire at the right time when you can't see a thing, and you gotta move. Quick trade as well. NAVI, I would say keep the advantage. This defense spread thinner, but it's where KC are going. It's the steps towards B main that's been taken. NAVI have already stepped in, taken this angle. Although Xiao is spotted, it's the second player. You might not expect Angel to be here. In fact, you may almost try to pressure after you've taken the side in towards this angle, and that's when they strike. Only one for now. And they know Xiao is here. He's the player that was accounted for in this play. So they're gone looking, they're gone hunting. And yet to find him. Did he slip back to main? The question now running through their mind. There's the answer, but it comes at a heavy cost. Again, down to the 1v1 with NAVI still having Rolling Thunder, 15 seconds left, and here it comes. You're gonna be pushed off the site, back into a safe position, at least for Shin. But here comes the stun, and after that, the Aftershock. Oh, it's gonna get a little dangerous. No, the utility's not put down. Instead, Artis swings his way around the smoke, up close, and catches the back of Shin. 6 rounds now for NAVI. They don't show any signs of stopping soon.
I felt like Artis looks so comfortable when it comes to the way he plays around his utility. Like, a lot of people, especially when you hit that plant come through, as you said, you put an Aftershock, maybe you run in and try and spray down the guy. He knows that in that moment, if he makes no sound, no spray, no nothing, Shin is going to assume he's wrapping. Because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you put utility through there to try and deny him? Or why wouldn't you run in with the last few seconds? But Artis is so calm in that moment that Shin has to take a gamble, and fair. He's got to look one way, tries to put a smoke the other. Focused. But that couldn't have gone better. Another 1v1 scenario that heads in the favor of NAVI. Pace might be the aim of the game here. Majority of players all built in towards this B site. Angel, well, that's definitely going to latch onto someone. He definitely doesn't know how many.
It's not like they have a stack just yet. It will still be a tough hold on the site. Prowler goes past the decoy, catches a player in main, slows them down yet again. Snakebite on floor, but there's a gap, and they're on their way. Reveal up and over. Catch a few, in fact, it catches most of them. Good info to play off of, and great execution! Angel's got himself a triple, and he's not even gone down. Artis comes in to save the day, cleanly closing it out 7-2, and there was barely a sweat to be broken by the defensive side, easily repelling that push.
Okay, I feel like I've highlighted him almost every single round, but I feel like Artis should have about 16 assists at this point. Only says 3 on the board, but the stun, again, just comes in as they look to sprint onto the site. As they finally get over that, he puts an Aftershock through the wall, and then there's also the reveal coming in. Like, there's just too much utility for KC to deal with. And then they just look flustered. Like, there's just too much for them to try and run through. And every single time while that is happening, someone over on the NAVI side, be it Angel, be it Zipan, be it Artis himself, is swinging off of that utility. And they're just unable to cope with how disruptive this defensive side comp is right now from the side of NAVI. Now, the sort of silver lining for them, ults are there. Viper's Pit is available. That was probably the plan in this round. They had a load of stingers. Okay, we rush into the site. NAVI probably, okay, maybe we trade. We trade a couple of kills. We use the Viper's Pit. We play the post plant when everybody's low on HP. That works out for us. They didn't even get close. Like, they were close physically on the site, but in terms of the actual round, not even remotely. Nightfall in combination, though, that should give them all the information they need, and hopefully for their sake, get them into an after plant, because right now, well, Navi are running away with this.
Well, it's crushing because that round 5, you know, it looked like somewhere that KC, they were equalized 2-2. It felt like they could push that lead into their favor and start to extend it somewhat. Face off against one buy round in round 6 and go from there. But it was stolen out of their hands, what should have been their lead. And they haven't come close to it ever since. A streak of rounds, 5 in a row for NAVI, and a pause here to hopefully put a remedy to that, put a stop to the building rounds on that defensive side and put them at a deficit. It won't happen in this half. We can still see 5 rounds for KC if it's nothing but flawless play from this point forward. You mentioned they leaned a lot towards the A site. We haven't seen them there for a while, but certainly a successful opening as they've already dropped Artis.
Yeah, that has been one of the players they've really been struggling with in terms of just utility usage. That Viper's Pit is used, but they've still got their own Nightfall. They could just counter whatever Navi opt to throw in. Paranoia is still available as well for Shao. Straight away, Angel's going to try and clear some of these close corners. They've got so many players to try and get rid of, but a bit of an unorthodox spot from the Ray is not going to be checked. It doesn't win the battle, though. Shin, however, is very quick to trade things out, but Navi have turned this back into a winnable scenario. Zipan with the showstopper, but so low, it might not be the time to use it. He almost does it anyway, and if it's placed in the right spot in the corner, he's going to take it home. It seems like Navi at this stage just can't lose themselves around, and while the defuse, it's not even going to be that close.
Yeah, plenty of time left on the clock for NAVI, a margin of 11 HP, but it puts them in a victorious spot. Zipan takes the cake in that round for a number of reasons, not just the final play, but even look towards the site. My guy blast packs out on site when you already had a haunt on the right. It only position it didn't clear was right there, and he turns around on a dime to take that kill, destroys Shin after a trade, and sets it up like this for the 3rd and 4th kill in the round. Winning it single-handedly, and I didn't even notice that by the narrowest of margins, and that did cost Martin his ult.
It counts. Well, he got 1 orb back.
Great.
For the death.
That's fantastic, isn't it?
That's brutal. That's about as brutal as it gets. Because there's a counter, split second later, and he's probably won the round.
Probably.
Oh, the good counter, though, to Angel's aggression is to shoot him. Shin has taken him out immediately. An upgrade on the gun, and well, for Shao, it's not really much he can do. Hit by the Nightfall, not going to be worth the risk here.
Okay, we got a nade through, but
they expected it.
No Angel, so no C's. And even then, they'd stepped off site, like you say, Tom. They expected it. Narrate had a nasty spot last round and got punished hard for it, despite what looked like an advantageous position. Now nade up top, he'll be falling back. That's, you know, it is a nade. It's a nade that we have seen, and that's all I'll say about it. For Narrate, they might not expect him to... They expect him to still be around here, and NAVI take every kill. I mean, we can't even see one because they all come in at the same damn time. Artis for his triple in 9 rounds for NAVI in what seems to be an unstoppable resurgence from this squad. The last map was close. The first wasn't for them. So they felt much more dominant, but here, it's incomprehensible.
So the last couple of times they played this map, obviously everyone remembers the last one. They got 2 defensive side rounds, and the time before that, they got 5.
Well, again, for those that don't remember, the last time they got 2 defensive rounds
and won
the map.
Yes,
which is
they had
insane.
An 11-1 attack. So
NAVI,
if it wasn't bleak before, it definitely is very bleak because they're doing it on the defensive side, the side where they have looked rough, but they are also just winning absurd retakes. Like that's another one. This time Zipan actually goes down. It's not him to do most of the work. It's Artis with the heavy lifting. You also lost your initiator immediately. One of the things in the first map I gave credit to KC was they work well when they have the advantage, but they don't anymore. They're losing a lot of advantageous positions, even with ults put in.
We saw some utility expended by NAVI just to clear out that these players weren't in main. Shin has now taken that space, and it looks like that's a big part of the plan for KC. 1 player in main to catch that extra angle, but most of this attacking squad will be making their way through middle. And they've managed to at least gain quite a bit of ground from what we can see. Expecting Martin's flash to come through, but no, it's the Prowler to lead the way, showing players to be slightly further back. Decoy to clear it, and they now know, okay, 1's further back up top, 1 definitely on the site. And what's the decision? looks like they're going to commit to it. That gate crash will be spotted and followed. They're waiting for the TP.
Right, it is going to be this push. Multiple players here. Martin is already dead. It will be a trade out though. Saigetsu still somehow surviving at least a second longer than he should have done. Stun. No one can really play off it, but there is still the Rolling Thunder available for Artist. Look how far away Zipan is though. I think they were still expecting this to be a rotation back to the other side of the map, so he is a country mile away from here. This fight could be everything, and Tamazi wins it with relative ease. Artist gonna throw his ult in, might as well, but he has to clear the close angle, does do it, but Tamazi is there. 9-3, the best defensive showing we've seen from NAVI on this map so far this year.
Well, Tom, I've made the mistake before. I won't make the mistake this time. I'm not going to count NAVI out on the attack. I would have said that even if they had one round coming into this. Now, I'm almost feeling like I see the conclusion written in front of me. KC have been good, but NAVI, despite some struggles, despite some shaky starts to some of their games, they're one of two teams that's yet to lose in this stage. Foot being the other one, both of those teams in the same group as well, which plays a pretty big role moving into playoffs and well, sucks for everyone else in their group because they've got a lot to catch back up on. This was looking like it could have been a 2-0 for KC. A couple rounds into sunset, you'd be forgiven for thinking that was going to occur, but right here, the 2-2, the equalization of KC, and they end up with 3 at the half. The push is good. Martin's in, but he's not out. Not using the gate crash yet, and could have been a costly mistake.
I didn't expect Sugetsu to be there on another late lurk. That Tinker's just been connected onto Tamazi, and Sugetsu, his only plan here is to be annoying, to waste time, to be in their back. Discusses already. They're going to try and get back in. Angel's found another. It's awkward, but Shin wins the fight. Still, that man is lurking in the backlines. Look how low they are. They might all go down, but instead, it's a quick trade. Shao now stuck, surrounded, has to try and isolate one, and that's exactly what he'll do. But the snake bites might have just done the job. He is sat there in the back. A second one will be going. And Shin, the time is ticking away. I don't even know if there's anything he can do at this stage. Just looks to try and get the final kill. They didn't clear this man out, and he will close out the round for NAVI. Again, they fight from a deficit, and again, they extend their lead.
And a lot of that even comes down to the damage done by those players holding onto the site, just chipping away, allowing those snake bites to be deadly in the late round. And a double snake bite setup post plant. It's nasty. It's nasty to come up against that in a pistol round, but
Angel could have killed all of them there. They were all with like 20 HP. It really could have been a quick end to that pistol, but Sugetsu, the post-plant rat, has won them that one. Oh, KC trying to bring about the Stinger meta. Investing into all of it. Now, bear in mind, Angel has not bought even a Ghost. Maybe expecting a bit of a risky play out from their opponents. They've gone for mostly rifles in this one, similarly to what they normally do, but definitely interesting to see a bit more purchased up for them this time.
You can see the caution on the side of NAVI. I like Angel just taking a classic in this round as well. The economic buff as he drops over his teammates gives them an opportunity to really take those fights. And if you're KC, it's probably not what you want to be coming up against, those rifles stacked up on shields. And well, jump peeking into 3 of them. That's going to make it even worse. Look, Tamazi actually doesn't take that much damage, all things considered. He's still able to fight in the late round, but most importantly, they've denied that rotation for a second or two longer and even set up a nice little angle that Tamazi somehow wins off of.
Zipan's face said it all. He was surprised as anyone. 2 players looking to try and reclaim that ground. It's going well for KC, but there's always a response. Shao is on just 1 HP. Last lease of life and already trapped, but I don't know if anybody's actually going to be able to push Artist off of the angle. The Seize was good, but they didn't get the kill, and well, you don't kill this man off, he punishes you.
Back to fighting for him. Oh, nice kills though. It's only Sugetsu and he can't even run the clock down. He has to win the fights and he won't. KC come in with stingers and I was ready to count them out, Tom. I wasn't seeing it. They've made it work for a 4th round and a lifeline to keep the dream alive.
It definitely seems like these guys practice with the Stinger more often than you might think.
Worthless.
Again, just finding the kills, duoing up, and they've given themselves that lifeline. For the side of Na'Vi, it's interesting. A returning of the favor to Angel. He's going to be on the hero rifle. A couple of other players are going to buy shields. It's almost like they don't expect him to live.
Angel. I don't know what you could be talking about.
I can imagine him being there and comms like, hey, what? Why you buy? Why you buy shields?
That's why. That would be why right there. Well, the rifle's been picked back up at least.
Sugetsu's like, yeah, got my shields, don't worry, got my gun.
And now the real game begins. Yeah, KC as well. Martin's got his ult in his back pocket ready to roll with if they do see any signs of danger. But this kind of round, it doesn't pose a lot of threat. A little bit of damage done. Players cross, nade going through, but Tamazi, does he go up the rope to take the fight? Off the back of the utility, you would think so, and it's a good seize. Decaying him somewhat, making the follow through so much easier. Snake bite up and in. Is it landed in the roof? Where did that go? It's gone to Kingdom Come.
Oh, this hero rifle still yet to have the impact they'd hoped for. KC definitely showing respect to the side of Na'Vi, using their utility to try and make these battles favorable, something that Na'Vi at the moment don't have as a luxury. And for KC, the one sort of shining light in this matchup is they have been prominent, at least in their recent match versus Gentlemates, on this defensive side. They pulled down a 9-3 half of their own. Xiao, well, shouldn't be anything for him here. And unless Sugetsu's about to pop every head that comes through heaven, I can't see a way that they're able to take this one over the line. Left into a 1 versus 5, but they are going to group up and make sure he gets absolutely nothing. Still a mountain to climb for KC, but a clean round like that won't go amiss.
You can see him Sugetsu trying to channel his inner narrate in the end there, but no chance.
They all came from the same direction.
Exactly.
No hope.
They learned their lesson from watching Navi in that first map of Bind. Another round for KC, this time flawless, and a big money builder for this squad. It'll give them a safety net to fall back on, and ult start to come online too. Over on the other side though, they didn't have a lot invested. This wasn't a round they expected to do a ton of damage in, just the one rifle that fell very quickly. Here's their opportunity. Rifles come in, utilities there, shields on most. The only downside is the even distribution of kills and deaths leaves now in the start of this half, leaves Navi in a position where they don't really have any ultis to come online soon.
Yeah, it's a gift and a curse. It's one of the things where you wouldn't mind having them for this round, but it might also be building up at the same time to blitz through a round. I want to see what Martin's going to be able to do with the Dimensional Drift though. Potential for getting that info, the C's. Oh! Definitely a little bit awkward. 3 players currently stacked up here. Zipan, I'm sure he was hoping that would go a little bit further. They really want to try and fight this. And well, eventually he'll go down, but the trade is immediate. An Angel, like shooting fish in a barrel, takes Narrate's head clean off. That fight, I don't think I've ever seen a team fight that aggressively in towards the vents. And well, KC have paid the price.
I mean, Tom, we have seen those rounds, but typically when there's big weaknesses there, you know, you're going to use the blast pack and flying up the rope to try to take advantage of the chaos and pull the round into your favor. Here with rifles, it's a crazy risk to take. It doesn't work out. The side of Navi have a huge advantage to work off of. No need for any risks. They will group up together, play this one as a team. Even putting the Nightfall into play, it will not catch anyone. This was looking more towards main. Magnum's closer now than he was expected to be, but that stun from Artis, his utility has been on point. This is a player that in the early days of Valorant was known for being on a team full of no-brainers, just aimers. G2 back in the day, it was painful to watch them play because they didn't give a damn about defaults, set strats, executes. No, they executed you. He's coming here on a breach, and his supportive utility looked unbelievable.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, what if they did that back in the day?
Well, yeah, it definitely used to be a few run it downs, and well, I still think Navi do that sometimes, but
oh, they do.
He definitely has been sublime with the utility that's been put into play. Frustration for the side of KC, especially as the success just wasn't there with those aggressive plays.
We're 1v1. We're just being 1v1.
Just peeking 1v1. Well, there'll be a lot to discuss coming out of that pause. And Tom, you know, the team that KC lost to was Foot. The team currently topping Omega Group, tied up with NAVI. It's only 2 rounds that separate them in the standings. It does still put Foot slightly above. And now they're looking at the only other team without a loss, sitting opposite them on the stage and not looking to put a loss on the board here today. NAVI and Foot used to always push to those international events. I think they've got a bone to pick with KC after Madrid.
Well, that is the thing. I feel like there's not often time where we sit there and go, okay, NAVI have been given the data to know what they need to fix, and they've been given time to fix it. And I think we're witnessing a lot of that right now. They were only 1 match away from actually making it to Madrid in the first place. But at the same time, they've been practicing, they've been at boot camp, they've been working to improve, and I think those improvements are definitely seen. Still, I think they need to work on the maps they choose. That seems to be one of the bigger problems for them at the moment, but nonetheless, Split is a map that you might just want to avoid them on. For now, at least, still a buy, still an ult available. Still opportunities for KC to try and drag this one back, but they need to do it here and now.
Well, KC would be the second team in their group to hit 2 losses, joining Team Liquid. Wouldn't be a pretty way to start this. It's a stacked enough group and some easy games ahead for other teams. It could cause problems for them. It's hard to imagine a world where they don't make playoffs, but that top spot will be looking to sit with Fnatic then. And a return to form for the old days of EMEA. 2 rounds. All the NAVI need to lock in that 3-0. Take back that top spot from Foot.
They are grouping up. That's what KC likes to do. Push this one together, although deciding which direction to head in. The site's going to be taken by Zipan. Not much they can do. Stop that great haunt, though. That's going to be a freebie. And that space that was garnered has quickly been lost. With his life, counter utility put in though, plant not going to be denied, but dimensional drift is going to be thrown in just to get all of the information KC could ever need.
Got 2 players, well, one of them's already dead. There's the 3rd spotted and all accounted for. Good paranoia, fantastic paranoia. It didn't catch Xiao, but the bullets of Tamazi certainly did. And Artis is now, after retreating and being spotted falling back, left with no choice. He didn't have to go down. Could have ran for the hills to try to save. That was the only choice he really had. The round was going to KC either way.
Yeah, no, that was just wonderful. I think, again, just showing how that Your ultimate can be put into play in such an effective way. Like just using it to get every single piece of information, and then they play utility off of that. So it's, okay, we're gonna throw through a paranoia straight in towards where my teammate just was. We know where he is, and then that's gonna help us clean on the way back in. Wow. Very well played from KC. A solid retake, and again, that's what we've already sort of credited this team for. Their retakes, their synergy has been sublime. I think that's why in the last round you saw that frustration from Eng, because that's not what this team is.
Well, already, if this was the first half, Tom, I would be sitting with KC pretty convincingly. They've managed to have a fantastic start, managing to push NAVI back in round number 2, building up rounds on this defense. That's all you can ask for, especially against NAVI. We're damn good on the attack, but it's so late on in the game. 5-round gap still, 2 for NAVI to take it across the line. They start this one with a disadvantage. We saw Zipan blast pack in, get blasted out of the round, but still some more players to fall back on. 3 rifles left in play. Sugetsu 2 away from a pit. If they can make their way to a site, things could swing back in their favor.
As we've said, they've been so good at fighting back from a deficit. To get to a little bit ahead of the smoke, but I think he realizes after being spotted that there will be a response. You can see the TP also being thrown across the map. Expectation maybe there at the moment from KC that this could be a hit towards the B site. 3 players still in position. Shin, however, does have his paranoia. He'd be able to slow them down if he needs to.
30 seconds left.
For now, at least, it seems like, again, they're happy to play that post.
Not even the attempted spams through. Pit's gonna fall in a moment as the rotates begin. Or have indeed begun. The Heaven fight is everything. Tight position for Xiao, some damage done. He's got some support down below in the vents. They just need to distract long enough for Sugetsu to strike, and that he will. A quick double and a clean bit of control for this side. The drop down to sight is going to be tough to follow through on. Okay, the paranoia is actually good, but look at Artis just repositioning immediately. Heaven control going to be retaken. The plant spot, not great. They do have to float back to the side if Artis goes down, but he is holding strong. Tamazi still hadn't left Heaven. He will die there. Giving 12-6 over to NAVI. A 6-round gap, double the score of their opponent. And 1 in 6 chances to close this back out. It's looking pretty stacked in terms of ult economy.
Yeah.
And in terms of chances, seems like all of them sit with NAVI.
This is the thing. I like the way that, again, NAVI is so good at knowing, okay, if we allow them to go for the retake, if we allow them to set up with their utility, they probably will win the round. They have that advantage, and when they're given those spots, KC are very good. The second there's disruption, though, that's where NAVI are able to strike, and that little bit of distraction, allowing for Sugetsu to aggress. I'd set them up for success. Weaponry now, a bit of an issue for KC. Rolling Thunder immediately set up alongside the Showstopper. The site control is going to be taken. I don't think there's anything that can be done to stop it. And with a Viper's Pit still available, NAVI can set up into an almost perfect post plant.
Yeah, this will be a very tough round to break. They're already going in. The pace is how they want to solve it. But NAVI have answered back. Artis grabbing himself a kill, still with utility. In fact, almost a full belt of utility to play with. And as they've broken the pace of this retake, KC slow it down, start to focus on the site. Sugetsu's got his flank underway. They're buying time, and they'll buy plenty of it on the site. Artis firing away his utility. Tamazi grabs 2, but they still have to deal with Sugetsu. Still have to drop this man, and he's got a double with a pit down. The spray will not catch the kill. Tamazi has 4 kills to try and claim this, and he won't find it. Sugetsu closing it out. Fantastic play on Viper. A beautiful lurk and a beautiful game from NAVI. 13-7 and 13-6. Domination on the maps that they win. And the flawless streak continues now, 3-0 in their group.
It's the most NAVI way to do it. You have a Viper's P, you go, we're going to use these ults to take the site. Where's Sugetsu? Other side of the map. Coming in on a late lurk from the depths of the other side. You can't really blame KC for not seeing that one coming. You would expect your Viper to be in there. But that's what this team does. Disrupts and causes you issues. And after losing that first map 13-7, the response once more from NAVI was unbelievable. 13-7, 13-6. This team is looking in some of the best form we've ever seen them, as resilient as ever. And if someone somehow manages to break this team's mental strength, I'll be shocked.
Well, we've got the post plan coming up soon with Xiao and Angel. I see them on the stage. They might need a moment. Let's toss it over to hear from our analyst desk.
They might need a moment, but we're not going to let them have a moment. We're going to get them over here to the post plant with myself and Kakuka as soon as possible. It's such a different showing on Split from NAVI compared to last week, but they had to fight tooth and nail to get that comeback. And this time round, it was just completely in their hands from the start.
Yeah, I think that they were also very confident in everything that we were doing. We were seeing a Zippen that was so comfortable playing the race and all the plays that we were doing. And Sugetsu in that second half was just so important. We saw it in the pistol round, right? Like the way that he had the plant and the way he throws the mollies and how confident he is in everything that he's doing. We're just seeing here how Zippen was having the time of his life. He's not only hitting the shots, he's like being so confident to do this kind of things and being so successful. 2 weeks ago, he was offing himself with that rocket, but today, it's a different view, and especially on this third map, I feel like NAVI is such a resilient team that it's just beautiful to see how they are so far undefeated, and they could be the one team to have like this perfect run to Shanghai potentially.
How much better do you think they're playing than Kickoff? Because it wasn't the worst showing at Kickoff.
I think that the thing with NAVI, right, and then like changing compositions and trying stuff for the first time, it comes with a price, right? And sometimes that price is going to be that you're not able to win just because everybody's testing out stuff. They came in to kick off with all of those things prepared. Now that they've had more time, and also I've mentioned this a couple of times, how every team came to EMEA to play Madrid and they got to play against them and prac against them. I think that everything's more solid now that they've managed to look at their mistakes and learn from them.
Do you think they benefited from not going to Madrid then?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that every team, I think that there's benefit, especially for the one in Madrid, as I say, with the teams coming over, you obviously get a benefit, especially with all the changes that we saw for kickoff. I feel like Navi, the expectations that we have from last year, it's like, oh my god, it's Navi, they're going to be changing stuff all the time and this and that. And this year, everybody brought in new changes, right?
In a way, at KC, they didn't have that international experience. They needed Madrid more, whereas for Navi, it's almost like, okay, right, we'll take this time out. We know what we're doing on an international stage. We've been there, done that. Okay, 2023 wasn't our finest hour, but now we can actually reset, got artists back, and we can make the magic happen from years gone by.
Yeah, and especially even today, like, for example, they decided that the chamber did not work for them. Actually, we can ask them about it when we have them here. They go onto the Neon and they make it work. I think that also for Navi, this format of playing week to week instead of a smaller and more compressed tournament, it benefits them so much.
And Gecko doesn't benefit them on Sunset. Well, at least they've shown, actually, no, I take that back, because we actually don't know if Gecko benefits them, because they didn't need to run it in the end.
Yeah, exactly. I think that the important thing is that even if you don't decide to run it because you decide to go for something else, Navi is a team that might surprise you and might end up playing the Gecko anytime, that's the good thing about them being so flexible, right? You have Shao, for example, now playing on the smokes, but you know that he's a brilliant initiator. Angel can do anything. Zipan, he also showed his flexibility today, looked very comfortable. Artist, again, I think that everybody's on that line. And then you have Sugetsu, which is one of the most deadliest sentinels that we have in the region.
Can I just sort of break the fourth wall for a moment and just explain to people, this is my first time in the studio for VCT, and having the teams massively on the screen behind you when you've got someone's head, someone's hand coming at you. It's almost like a horror show. I can see though that we've got a couple of players waiting to come on and join us. Angel's just like, do I go around here? Angel's done this before, hasn't he?
I don't know if we've had them here, but he's definitely, guys, you can come here.
Come on, don't be shy, don't be scared.
It's okay.
Is Shadow a bit scared of you because you are a super fan?
Hi, I've got the gas.
You don't say that now, Frankie.
Are you the problem? I'm the drama, she's the problem.
No. I think that it's been an exhausting series. They love going to that third map, so of course we had to give them some time. Hello guys, how you doing? Good to have you here.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting.
Yeah, of course. How are you feeling after that epic 3-map series?
Happy. Yeah.
Happy?
Excited.
Okay.
Excited? About what?
We finally won a map with 2 1 pistols. So it's like big achievement.
Okay.
An absolutely huge achievement. I do want to keep the energy up. I want to keep the vibes happy, but I also do want to take things back to map number 1, and we are going to rerun a round that really did look like it was going your way, and we want you guys to talk us through it.
Maybe you remember.
Don't tell me it's 1v5.
Yes, yes, it is.
Why? Just why?
Just because you might have
We're
forgotten
too good mood or what? We're in too good mood, right? We need to.
Yeah, we've got to start the VOD review now. So I think no time like the present, production, if we can just watch this back. Okay, come on then,
and it's
talk us through it.
Do you see it? There's one. I mean, okay, this 3 kills are a bit of BS, right? He shouldn't have gotten that. Angel, what do you pick here?
I'm just holding. I'm literally just holding angle, like left side, Shao, right side.
Yeah.
And he was like, he played it good.
He did. He did wait also until the end.
I think problem was in our first 3 guys, not in us.
True.
We have
you invited the wrong guys.
We have not let many options like what to do.
You could have played together.
We played. We literally was holding together. Like I thought, to be honest, you will have time to refrag me.
No, I picked like after your death, and I didn't see him already. He just took a knife
and
ran
away. Too late picked.
Yeah.
So what also was happening for you, Angel, on Bind? Because when we saw you play against Vitality, you were absolutely on fire, and you did have a great series. But I was expecting Battle Angel, and instead I got in-game leader Angel doing his job.
Like, to be honest, I have a problem which, like, last 2 games. That first map, I feel unwarm up at all. Doesn't matter what I do here on the PC's backstage. This PC's backstage are a completely different thing, which is, like, on stage. So, I will need to probably try next time not to warm up at all here, not to, like, lose confidence and feeling of the spray. Because it's second time, like last game also first map doesn't feel at all. I need to warm up while playing first map. And that's a big problem. So I will need to find a way in the next game. Because second and third I was pretty confident and felt comfortable.
Okay, I wanted to bring another topic, right, regarding the compositions that you guys are running. I think that some things are very well polished from kickoff, right? But I think you spoiled us a bit in 2023 because you brought it so many different compositions. I think that throughout the year, it was like around 30 or something like that. Maybe not that high of a number, but you would have like 9 different compositions for one same map. Why do you think this year you haven't been so creative just yet?
I told it before, like
9 compositions on Lotus.
like to be honest, like before, like last year we was changing comps not because we wanted to. It's like it was a problem with our agent, like selection basically. It's like just we wasn't feeling comfortable on the agents which we play. So we was trying to find the balance, trying to find the meta. I'm not like a big fan of changing comps. I'm fan of like changing like one agent, for example, like to adapt to enemy, like or like some small details to counter strat someone. But changing like how many times? Like
9.
A lot, basically.
Currently, it's not even there.
Basically, a lot. Yes, I'm not a fan of this. Like, you're not gonna see this year like a lot of switches. Maybe some adaptations to like enemy play style. Maybe we'll feel like meta is changing, but not that much.
So, Xiao, how would you rate Angel's Fate? It was very good on Split.
He is great. I was teaching him a lot
during
off season.
How's his smokes? How are his smokes?
Actually, he's very great on smokes. I was literally teaching him.
Don't remember.
I like this. There's knowledge exchange. I mean, you've been playing together since like 2020.
Yeah,
since beta.
Since beta. Yeah.
Yeah. So how have you still got things to teach each other? Surely you learn them at the same time.
We played like 3 years on different roles. Now we switched, so we
You got bored? Or was it because 2023 didn't go the way you
No,
wanted?
it's like Xiao played, like, we obviously had a lot of switches between agents. I played Initiators, some maps, Xiao played Smokers. And after last year, we're like, oh, Xiao, you're great at Smoker. You have like best stats and you feel comfortable. And Xiao like, I can try Smokers on all the maps. I'm like, okay, let's do it. And I'm feeling fine on Initiators.
We have got Clove coming in next week, potentially.
You never know.
Eyes are on Navi.
No.
They're on Navi. Can you wiggle your eyebrows?
I'm getting mixed signals here because Danger's like, I don't like changing compositions.
No, it's not about changing comp, but I think Chloe is a bit weak right now. She's great for
matchmaking.
For matchmaking, she's insane. You just push, die, and still smoke. But in reality, like Omen have flash, Brim have longer smokes. Like there is just utility of other smokers are just stronger.
Okay, let's bring the conversation back to what happened today, right? Did you expect the way that Bind went? Did you feel like you were counter-stratted? What do you think went wrong in that map?
No, I felt like we clearly was a better team there. Like, no jokes. We lost 2 pistols, 3 clutches, 1v3, 1v5.
Even more.
Like, I'm saying they were much better players.
Yeah.
We was a better team, that's it.
Map, yeah.
And last 2 maps, there was just no situations for them to, like, clutch. And we won, pretty comfortable.
So what makes KC in the future potentially one of the best teams? Because you seem to rate them as individuals then, but not so much as a team right now?
No, I think they're a great team also. They have good strats, good ideas, but we're just better. It's different. And obviously
you're older and wiser and more experienced.
Obviously, like their individuals are like on insane level. Like 3 guys, just like if you hit first bullet, if you missed first bullet, most likely you're dead.
Okay, love to hear that. Let's show the standings, right? Because right now you're in an amazing position to make it out of the groups like flawlessly.
Would be 2-0, 2-0.
Yeah, but you still have the 3-0, you know, so you're on top right now. You do know that if you get to play us as
the problem is doesn't matter. Like you can be 4-0 and don't go out of groups. Like how's the system?
No, you can.
Okay. Now you can't. Yeah. But before the league starts, you potentially could.
Okay, Andrew, but let's take problems one at a time. Okay. You're in a very good position to make it out of groups flawlessly, right? And also get in that. You dropped the maps, but you got the wins in the end. And if you end up getting it 5-0. And Foot is like to drop one of their matches, you might skip, you know, you get into players, I don't know if you know this, if you get first, you skip the first match. Is there any other result that you've been surprised by, or any team that you thought was going to be doing better, but is, you know, because on the other side, on the other group, everything's like more evened out? Do you expect any other team to be like very dominant besides you guys?
To be honest, I expected Giants to do much better. Like, no jokes. We've been practicing a lot against them because they're in our group. Yeah, they were playing very confident and very like strong. And that the fact that they lose like first 2 maps is surprising for me. I expect their potential is much higher than what we saw.
There seems to be a thing with some of the teams doing amazing in scrims. Obviously, Vitality had a difficult first week because of you, after doing so well in scrims. Is there something about the stage? Maybe it doesn't feel as comfortable as last year because there was the whole change. What is it about this studio that's making people question themselves and their skills?
I think it's just the way people play on Prax.
Yeah, I agree.
They just more loose, they're picking angles which they will never pick. Because like when it's coming to official, it's like imagine pistol you push like somewhere alone, you died. You're never gonna do it again. And you're rarely gonna do the plays you were doing, like jump checking something, like drive facing angles. So I respect the teams who is like playing Prax like super comfortable and then doing this on stage. But,
and that's you.
But most... no, we're not playing Prax super loose.
Okay, but continue that thought. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. We prefer like to lose the Prax, but to Prax what we're really gonna do on the officials. This is the way we prefer to Prax. But most of the teams are not afraid of anything, playing like at home, and like obviously not at home in offices right now. But yeah, this is my opinion.
Okay. Should we move on to the question that we had from last week?
Can I ask one thing before we go to the question that, funnily enough, is from KC? Angel, look, the first time I met you was back in 2018, and there's something about you that sticks out to me is you stand by the org that you play with. In football, they call it playing for the badge. You have these long-standing relationships with orgs, and subsequently, you have long-standing relationships with players. So, Shao, I'm wondering, what is it about this man that inspires so much loyalty?
I don't know, I just love him, to be honest. Like, from beginning, like, when I was younger, like 2015, I was like dreaming about playing with Angel. I don't know why I liked him when he played previous game. And eventually we just like, we were fighting against each other in beta on some small tournaments. And once he invited me in his team, and I'm still here with him.
So he discovered you.
What did you see in him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wholesome.
We've been playing like 2 teams, one against each other, and I got 30 frags, he got 30 frags, and it's like overtimes. And our teammates are like 10, 15, 12, and we're like picking each other.
So you were like, I want this man.
Like we're literally fighting against each other. And in beta, I was like owning everyone, like just white swinging with brimstone. Like white swinging with brimstone doesn't matter, without buying the Steam beacon even. And if I say, oh, if the guy can fight me in beta, okay, I need to play with him. He was like owning hard.
I can't imagine a world where you're not playing together. Can you imagine that?
Listen, I'm old. I will die soon, so probably...
No, you're not going to die soon.
I'm 1 year older than you, I think so. But you know what? Women have an older life expectancy. How old are you, Shao?
I'm 24.
24, God. So
we are oldest.
Yeah, when we first met, you were like 16. Something like that. Oh, anyway, so as you were saying, we should
steal the question because I feel like Angel is like in the zone. He's like giving very good answers, and I want him to create some drama. So we're going to play the question that Zeish blindly sent to the next guest for the post-plant.
Are you enjoying Berlin? Because me, not.
That's the question. Do you like Berlin?
Yeah, are you enjoying it? Because he's not enjoying it.
No.
Are you guys enjoying Berlin?
No, we don't.
Why not?
It's like, it's not about Berlin, to be honest, for us. It's about us like living in the same apartment, like all together. For short bootcamps, it's cool, but when it's like longer time, when you need to adapt to it, you need to like be very good to each other, you need to like wash dishes, like close doors, everything, like, you know, a lot of like small things which can happen. But to be honest, I feel like we're doing it great right now. Last year it was harder because we was losing more, and it also adds up. But this year is fine.
But you have to live with Ardis.
Please don't.
Oh.
Like, don't remind. I literally like coming here, I'm happy.
Pudlian boy. I bet he doesn't wash up. I bet he's the kind of boy who probably wears socks 2 days in a row.
No, actually, no, he's pretty...
Is he good?
No, to be honest...
Does he play with his shoes off?
We were like sleeping in the same room with him. We had like the same room, and he just like left because I was snoring. So I just gave one solo room for myself.
That's so tactical.
That's the angel, that's the angel method. That's a great way to generate space, actually.
Practical genius.
Who do you share a room with?
Pontus. Zippen.
Oh, okay. I mean Swedish.
Who snores more?
Yeah.
I usually go first sleep, so probably he enjoys nighttime.
I can imagine. And in the summer, he doesn't go to sleep at all. It's time to do a question for our guest, though. Sorry, Bae.
No, yeah, I was literally going to say that we cannot forget, obviously, you guys have to send a question to the next guest that we have. Your camera is that one there. You see it, the one with the red dot?
Shao, question from you.
You can generate some drama, so you don't know who you're asking. Who's the second team? Is going to be either Vitality or Foot. But you can create some drama if you want.
Oh, if Vitality will win,
No, you have to do for both case scenarios.
It's for both.
Exactly.
Let's go play football next Friday. Let's go?
Yeah, I want
this
to
is
talk about football, yeah.
Okay, you have to do it better. Just look at that camera and just...
camera?
That one, yeah.
Guys, let's go play football next Friday. Team versus team.
Lovely, we got it. Yeah. I mean, that's probably... I was expecting drama and you gave me one of the most wholesome questions, so that's all right.
I'm really enjoying this. No, football doesn't have to be wholesome. Not at all.
We're fighting. We're like fighting in football.
Yeah, but you could be like, hey, who's the worst player on your team, you know?
I know who's the best, that's it.
Who's the best football player?
Of course, Ankara Messi.
The old man.
Of course.
Are you a rush goalie?
Like, no chances. No, I'm doing everything. Messi, staying in the middle.
That's Messi.
Messi?
His second name is Messi.
Did you just compare yourself to Messi?
She didn't saw me playing. Shao.
Yeah, I mean, but where's Messi playing now?
Ask Salah tomorrow. If you're gonna interview Salah tomorrow,
yeah, ask him.
If they will win, ask.
Okay.
We played them last Friday. Ask how many goals they scored.
Okay, I will.
I think you should have asked them that question.
Never mind. Maybe it's not Salah, so I did like question for both teams.
All right. Okay, Messi.
Like that.
Messi and Mbappe. I've decided you're the Mbappe.
Just the goalkeeper.
Oh, the goalkeeper. Okay.
I'm bad at football.
Van der Sar.
You have a goalkeeper energy, actually.
Who is the worst goalkeeper in history of football?
There was one from Liverpool, but never mind.
Angel. We're still on the show. You're still
You could be Alisson.
Alisson, yeah, okay.
He's not bad though. He's a proper good goalkeeper. Anyway, do you want to pick a football player before we go?
No, I don't. I'm very lost. I used to enjoy football when I was young, as a social activity mostly. I still enjoy it as a social activity, but I don't follow it.
You are the Alexia Puteas of the Analyst Desk. And if you've watched any women's football, including the World Cup where Spain won, you'll understand she's the MVP. That is all from us here tonight, though.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for initiating me to the desk.
It was my pleasure.
I brought pink. But I look like I've been shopping in a camping store. And we had to veto that.
She looked fine. It's okay. The pink is in your heart, as long as you wanted to. You know,
I did. I got pink mouth on, but no one needs to zoom in on that. We are going to be back though tomorrow with some banger matchups with BBL versus Team Heretics and Vitality versus Foot. Who is going to be answering Navi's question about football? We will see you then.
Bye bye.